Hello and welcome back to the HCW channel. My name is Dan, DP, or D to the pre-Z. Yeah. Hello and welcome back to HCW Show Squared, the official second show of the HCW show. My name is Dan, DP, or D to the pre-Z. Initially we were called the B Show Show. Not a great name, to be honest. But as you see beneath, we've gone with HCW Show Squared. Hello and welcome back to HCW Show Squared. This is episode 3. I'm Dan, DP, or DWZ. Hello and welcome back to the channel and welcome back to HCW Show Squared. The show will take the usual formula of the HCW show and multiply it to the power of, you guessed it, 2. My name is Dan, DP, or as we all know, DWZ. Yeah. Hello everyone and welcome back to the show, welcome back to the channel. My name is Dan, DP, or as we all know on this channel, DWZ. Yeah. Welcome to HCW Show Squared, the show where we take the usual format of the HCW show, which is now defunct, and expand it to the power of, you guessed it, 2. Yo, it's your boy DWZ. Yeah. And I'm basically just saying that I'm going to be in Orlando next week, and I'm going to be at NXT, and I'm going to be at the Performance Center. So you're going to have John Cena, Asuka, Paul Heyman, Cody Rhodes, and Dupreezy. This guy. Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another edition of HCW Show Squared. It's episode 27, I think, and I am not alone. Firstly though, I'm Dan, DP, DWZ, yeah, but as I said already, I am not alone. Because joining me for the first time, and I believe it's the first time on the channel as well actually, I am joined by the MIC himself, Mr. Impact Craig. How you doing, buddy?
I'm very well, thank you. Thanks for bringing me on, joining this madness. In case you didn't know, you know me, it's the MIC.
Yeah.
Appreciate being part of all of this. It's been a while since I've recorded with someone else. Glad to be back in the game, and for the first time in a while, talk about some wrestling.
Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another edition of HCW Show Squared. This is episode 33. Of course, this is the show where we take the usual formula of the defunct podcast and multiply it to the power of, you guessed it, 2. I'm your host, as always, Dan, DP, or as we all say nowadays, DWZ. Yeah. And I am joined, at last, he's back. I've taken a very sus break from action. Is of course Mr. Impact Craig. Welcome back to the show. How you doing?
Hello. You know me. It's that MIC.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another edition of HCW Show Squared, the show where we take the usual format or formula of the now defunct HCW show and expand it to the power of, you guessed it, 2. This is episode 41, and I am your host, Dan, DP, or as we now say nowadays. As we all say nowadays, there we go, DWZ, yeah. And I am of course joined by an illustrious guest, someone who's been here for a while now, someone who is clearly enjoying his time because he's not left. It is of course the sus master himself, Mr. Impact Craig. How you doing?
Once again, I'd like to state for the record, I'm not sus. But yes, it's me, it's that MIC. Well, that's not the intro I normally do, but I'll take it. Craig, aka Mr. Impact. And yes, yes, I am enjoying my time. I mean, the sus thing I could, take or leave, but we move.
Hello everyone, welcome to the channel and welcome to another edition of HCW Show Squared, the show take the usual format or formula of the defunct HCW Show podcast and it's to the power of, you guessed it, 2. I'm your host as always, Dan, DP, or we all say nowadays D-P-Z, yeah. And normally I'm joined by one of 2 guests. Normally I'm joined by the sus master, or I'm joined by the not so sus master. But he's still sus. This time, I am joined by someone who has announced that he's no longer sus, but he's instead, as you've seen in the stream title, the new learning tree of HCW. I am of course joined by Frozzy.
Hello. I did not. I don't remember agreeing to this nickname, but I'll take it. Yeah, it was just like when you were naming the stream and you said it, I was like, where has that come from? But okay, we'll move. We'll move. This is the gimmick now.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, wherever you may be. Bienvenue and welcome to HCW Show Squared, the show we take the usual format or formula of the defunct HCW Show podcast and expand the power of, you guessed it, 2. I'm your host as always, Dan, DP, or also nowadays D-P-Z, yeah. And I am of course joined by another illustrious guest. You may notice it's not Mr. Impact Craig. You may notice it's not penciled in Nikki. You may notice it's not even Frozzy or Rate Wrestle. I am instead joined by the 5th choice. No, I'm joking. I'm joined of course by Scottish resident and Scottish wrestling expert himself, Muzza.
Hey,
How you doing?
I'm pretty sure I was more 10th choice, but still, whoa, I'll take the compliment.
Well. Rate Wrestle's been summoned to do Rampage because DP decided to go to Wales to watch No Mercy, and now that means that for some reason I have to review Rampage. Not watched Rampage in about a year. So we'll try, and goodbye, and hopefully I'm never back.
Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel and welcome to another edition of HCW Show Squared, the show with the usual format or formula of HCW Show podcast and expands the power of, you guessed it, 2. I'm your host as always, Dan, DP, or do you all say nowadays, for 52 weeks, D-P-Z. Yeah! And firstly, before I get into anything, I just want to say a huge thank you to everyone who's tuned in and everyone who's helped me make these and make the content what it is. I remember a few months ago, like half a year ago, it was like just me talking into the void, and that can be a very daunting experience, with no one essentially coming back at you to bounce off or no one to talk to you, and it can be a very challenging atmosphere to get through. But thankfully, I've had support networks. I've had people coming in, including people I'm with today. So, firstly, you have seen him regularly on the show past few months, past few weeks even. He is the big TNA guy. Is of course Mr. Impact Craig. How you doing, Craig?
You know me, it's that M-I-C, Craig aka Mr. Impact. Yeah, I'm all good. 52 weeks. Wow. Like, I mean, time really does fly. Right, and congratulations on being here for 2 weeks, because that is an accomplishment. Like, some people just give up when they're not getting certain things. So, like, fair play for sticking with it and making it what it is. Because I'll share.
Thank you. But secondly, I am joined by someone who was very recently on the show to talk not weekly TV, but to talk Heatwave. I'm of course joined by penciled in Nikki.
Hello.
How are you, Nikki?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah.
52 weeks. Check you out. Congratulations.
Just to confirm, I didn't brief them to say stuff about this. I just I just brought it up just here and now. I didn't say like, oh guys, mention the year. Like,
No, we're proud of you. Celebrate it.
Thank you. No, I do appreciate it. And of course, to celebrate in this celebration of a year, we've got a guest that I've been sort of on and off trying to get on here for a few weeks now. But, you know, they've been a bit busy with life and doing other things, so fair enough. But they binned it all off to be here tonight. It is penciled in Mike, or Mike penciled in. I don't know what one it is, but it's one of those. Hello, Mike.
I did that also. That's it up and then I just forgot.
I think it's penciled in Mike.
Penciled in Mike. Yeah. Hello, thank you so much for having me on. It's really cool, especially considering like I have like watched you guys talk and stuff like that. You did the big quiz as well, which was really big fun and stuff like that. I was cheering on downstairs, literally jumping up and down.
Still bitter about it. Craig's still bitter about it.
I apologise for bringing that up. It's just it was just it's really cool, and congratulations on 52 weeks, man.
Thank you. Thank you. So, you will see, of course, for the viewer this is, that I have done a sort of mixture as well on the overlay or the main screen here. So we've got all our cameras here, but I've done a mixture of new elements with the borders and the cameras, but also mixed in with the old background of the old Show Squared that you might remember, with the old purple and black sort of scenario, sort of, what's the word, gradient behind. But that's about it, really. So unless anyone's got anything they want to say or anything they want to plug beforehand, we can just go straight ahead into this.
Let's go.
Do it.
Cool. I am slightly worried my voice might break during this, but let's give it a go.
Oh, sorry.
Also,
I do have a question.
go for it.
Is this okay?
Depends what it is.
It's beer, but I don't know if I drink. I don't do this, so I don't know the
You're
rules.
good. You're good.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, I think if we were streaming this, it might be a bit of an issue because I think Twitch has got a thing against like consuming live alcohol, consuming alcohol on camera. But
Live.
Yeah. Okay, sorry about that. I do apologise. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't going to get.
You're good, honestly. Like I've had people on here swearing like and just effing and blinding. Like I've had people drinking. It's everyone comes in all shapes and sizes and all forms and everything. It's absolutely fine.
I'm going to let it all out now. Then sweet.
Right. So for those who are uninitiated, which will be mainly you two guys penciled in, because you were there for the Heatwave, but that was a bit different. I go through the rundown of NXT, I talk about what happened, and I give my thoughts, and then I'll break away to give you guys a chance to say what you thought, or I might prompt you to say what you guys thought. But if you've got anything pertinent or anything important you want to bring up, feel free to just cut me off, because sometimes we get a little mind worm that just says like, I've got to say it now before I forget it later, But yeah, without any further ado, let's get this show on the road. So this is for NXT TV for the 13th of August. I realise now that's not exactly a year because I did skip a few a few weeks because of illness or holiday or whatever, but it's still 52. It still counts. So things kick off straight away with the newest attitude on the roster, Wesley, and he's asked why he's turned on his brothers. To which he says that it's time he took what was his, and he walks off. And then straight after him comes Ethan Page, who declares that he's about to address the NXT universe. So, cool. But I can see Craig's already stirring. Anything you want to say, Craig?
It's actually hover it before I because I've got some things to say. As per.
Right. So we go into Ethan Page addressing the NXT universe. So out comes Ethan Page. He talks about Oro Mensah failing to beat him last week. He then talks about potential future challengers. He name drops Wesley, Pete Dunne, and even Trick Williams. But he declares that if Pete broke all his fingers, it wouldn't loosen the grip he has on the NXT title. As it's not NXT, it's NX Me. Not me, Ethan Page. But yeah. And then straight after this, he didn't even say his name, but yet he appeared. It's Joe Hendry! He sees why Ethan thinks he's a talk of the town to talk of NXT, and that when he won a title at Heatwave, he was the talk of the town, but only until Hendry's face appeared on the screen, which I thought was... I thought back to it, I was like, holy shit, that's right, actually. Like, it was completely overshadowed.
Yeah.
What a way to really shit on Ethan Page there, isn't it?
It was.
But Ethan retorts by calling him a rambler and that he should go back to TNA. He doesn't even know why Hendry's hanging around in NXT. And then Hendry just replies, because it's obvious what he's here for, because he wants the NXT Championship. Okay. We're going somewhere. Ethan talks about how everyone believes in Joe Hendry, and that it makes him sick to his stomach when he hears it. He also mentions that Joe is on his 14th minute or his 15 minutes of fame, which I thought was another great line that he mentioned here. Like he mentioned earlier about breaking his fingers but not losing his grip, and now the 14th minute or 15 minutes of fame, which I just was... I don't know who's writing this, but if it's Ethan doing it, then fair play. Like these are some singers, but I might steal. Anyway, and that if Hendry comes after Ethan Page, Ethan will expose him for the flash in the pan that he is. Hendry is offended, and that he's been grinding for 10 plus years. He named Dr. Kurt Angle and Booker T, who is apparently the president of the Joe Hendry fan club. He's not. And that he'll make a believer out of Ethan Page when he beats Ethan for the NXT title. And when he does, he'll take the title all over to London, to Paris, to Tokyo. And then it goes into the song with America, Scotland, and Mexico.
I was so hoping you were going to sing that, dude. I felt like you were going into it and then...
No, because we are professional.
Ding.
Not that I haven't sung on here before, because I absolutely have. I'm pretty sure Craig can attest to that.
Yeah.
But no, as this happens, Ethan leaves the ring in disgust, and Hendry waves his arms in the air, and he just don't care. As does the entire arena. Until super kick out of nowhere. It's fucking Wesley again. Joe Hendry's laid out. Wesley standing tall, soaking in the barrage of booing and jeering from the crowd. And I just thought, what a fucking shot. Like...
It was great.
Whole moment, very played out, well played out, very nice job.
Craig,
Screaming. Oh.
So For what he did to the Rascals, yeah, I don't like Wesley. But I wasn't that mad that he kicked Joe Hendry in the face. Just putting it out there, I wasn't exactly disappointed. As if you're a regular watcher, you know that I don't believe anymore. And it's definitely me being fickle. Make no bones about that. I'm definitely fickle, considering it's Slammiversary I wanted Joe Hendry to win the TNA World Championship.
Fickle!
And now I want him to not be in TNA anymore. But it popped me to hear Ethan Page say TNA. Given how he left. Given how he left after the Karate Man incident.
I mean, the greatest match of his career. Yeah. Ethan Page is a talker. He's a great talker. Has been since I've been familiar with him. Even when he was, shout out to anyone who remembers Chandler Park, he's always been a great talker. Yeah. So just not mad at it, and it's pretty clear where this is leading, but obviously that comes further on in the show.
Yeah.
But before we go further on into that, we go backstage to Ren Sinclair. She's hanging around with Charlie Dempsey and Miles Bourne, who are doing a training fight thing, and she wants to talk to Charles. And he's got a big Heritage Cup match coming up. And Charlie wants no part of her being there and tells her to not get involved. And Ren discovers that Tavian Heights is actually in Japan. And not, dead.
Not off the bridge.
Yeah.
I love her.
It's just little things.
Good energy.
It's just the little things like that. Like, it was like the attention to detail. It was like, I thought they might just disregard it and be like, oh, it didn't happen. But they were like, no, she actually mentioned it. I was like, oh, he's in Japan, yeah.
Nailing it as well. I saw a few clips and wow.
Yeah. I've not checked anything out.
Yeah, I think he... Spoilers for people who want to watch the N1. I haven't watched it yet. I believe he did win his first 2 matches, and I believe he beat Keno, who was like one of the big names over there in Noah.
Nice.
So
I have to have a look at some stuff. I've not checked it.
No, we're still yet to check out Noah properly.
But yeah, he's doing really good over there. I'm assuming he won't win the N1, but.
I mean, Riley Osborne qualified for Ultimate X.
Yeah. Or do you mean Josh Terry?
That really confused me.
That really confused me as well. I think he's using his real name or his indie name on Twitter. So when TNA put the tweet out, it was like, "Oh, WWE Josh Terry has qualified for the Ultimate X thing," and it was like, "Who's Josh Terry?" And it was like, "That's Riley Osborne."
He's not changed it. Oh no!
Which I suspect it must be a name right thing, like a copyright thing. So
Yeah.
I said it must be that, because I don't know if WWE can claim it if it's being used.
I know they're now allowing talent to keep their real name, which is nice of them.
Yeah, true. Got a whole storyline on that one.
CM Punk. So, after this, we go backstage still. It's a gathering of female talent within NXT as Ava, accompanied by Robert Stone and Stevie Turner, announced that there will be a No Mercy 6-woman qualifying match thing to determine who will face Roxanne Perez at No Mercy. It's all random, of course. So naturally, the first name drawn is Ren Sinclair. So then she can go support, the boys now. Up next is Adriana Rizzo, who's announced for the 6-way, but okay. And then the third person and the final person for now is Sol Ruka. And it was at this point I was like, I didn't realise that they hadn't fought yet, Sol Ruka and Roxanne Perez.
Have they not?
Not even in like a three-way multiple match and anything like that?
That wouldn't count because it's to do with Roxanne's
Yeah,
title.
No, it's very clear.
Yeah.
I thought they
I'm actually quite shocked by that,
Yeah,
but that's an
yeah.
exciting prospect.
Yeah,
Very exciting prospect.
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
Absolutely.
It should have probably happened sooner had it not been for what happened to Solrook. I'm sure it would have happened by now
Yeah.
had the injury not happened. But that's a really cool prospect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I was really surprised by that idea of it. I was like, everyone who's been announced for it, I was like, yeah, that's fair enough. And then just saw Ruka's in there. It's like, huh.
Oh shit, yeah.
But no, we do move on to the first match of the night, the NXT Heritage Cup match. Tony D'Angelo defends against Charlie Dempsey. For those who aren't aware, this follows the traditional British rounds format, 6 3-minute rounds with half a minute break in between each round, unless there's a pinfall or submission before the end of the round. And it's first to 2, basically, best of 3. So round 1 ends with Dempsey looking in an ankle lock, but generally speaking, it's a stalemate with no clear advantage either way. It's 0-0 at this point. Round 2 ends with a deadlift, forget about it, from Tony, which I thought was pretty good. I was like,
Yeah.
like literally lifted from the ground to hit the move, and I was like, Jesus.
He's a strong dude.
He's
Tony
deceptively strong.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Round 3 is an issue that I have constantly with NXT. It's a fucking ad break.
Nothing to see here.
The wrestling shouldn't be covered up. Like,
No.
it's a wrestling show. Like, it's like imagine going to a cinema to watch a movie, like to watch the latest, I don't know, Deadpool Wolverine film, and there's just ads playing through it, like literal ads, like picture-in-picture ads. Just
Just a picture-in-picture all of a sudden in the middle of like the climax of the movie or something like that because 15 minutes to go.
Yeah.
But on the network, it's just you get the last 20 seconds of that round. It's cut it. That's last 20 seconds of the round. You don't see anything.
Mm-hmm.
They don't even like keep the feed. There's a line still recording.
Jesus.
They
That's
show
appalling.
network ads and stuff like for SmackDown and for SummerSlam and like for Table for 3, which I haven't done in years. Table for 3, but that's more important than showing the match. Sort it out.
What Table 3 featuring now AEW talents Mark Henry, The Big Show, and I don't know, someone else.
This one I didn't mind so much because it was for it was for Sting, Jarrett, and AJ Styles, and they talk about TNA, which I didn't mind.
Mm-hmm.
But still,
It's relevant at least. Kind of.
There was a match going on.
So my feed fortunately didn't have the extra adverts other than what was on just TV. So I get like the last 20 seconds. Again, nothing really of note. But Charlie does hit a knee after the bell, and Ren casually assaults Charlie in the corner.
Yeah, she smacks him up.
Yeah.
I loved it. I thought it was great. I was
Big
pumping
fun.
for that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, big fun.
But at this point, it's still 1-0. Yeah. At this point, it's still 1-0 to Tony. Round 4 continues the trend of no real advantage for either man until a schoolboy bridging pin gets a free count for Charlie. 1-1. I thought it was pretty good. And
Wasn't expecting it.
yeah.
Dempsey's got a great Dad made sure of it.
Like Regal was just
He's
there,
not
like
getting away with that.
bridge boy.
Yeah.
Definitely rested his
Just
feet.
on my sticks.
It's like I imagine like Stu Hart in a dungeon, but just William Regal in like the woods or something.
And like by the pool table in a Labour club or something. Like
Young Charlie used to go to after school every day. That just
Comes back to do some glass collecting and bridging.
Oh, you got a choice, son. You can do this or do some bridging.
He's presented with his two things.
That was his childhood.
Alternatively, there's like a some cocktail maker. It all started with glass collecting and doing bridges, and now he's just doing cartwheels and cocktails. I don't know. Sorry, back down the path.
But no. So round 5 sees the end of the match as Ren makes her presence known as she trips up Tony on the ropes, and Chai takes advantage with a butterfly suplex with another bridging pin for number 3.
Yeah.
2-1 Charlie, and Charlie is your new Heritage Cup holder, which I fucking love. I love that decision.
Absolutely. We're big Charlie fans, especially with his like kind of doing Bloodsport and stuff like that, and showing that side. And Miles he's got some like proper good chops and he's funny. Ren is a great addition. Them having the cup is really cool.
Yeah,
and the swerve he's done has been great so far. So,
absolutely
for them,
Really popped me. Really popped me. It was. Big fan of Charlie Dempsey because he's just great. I can't really say much more other than he is excellent. And adding Ren to this group, it gives it something else other than what the NQCC used to be. So you can't really fault how they're doing this, especially with Tavon in Japan, and now you've got Ren, it's like doing whatever it takes. Not what I was expecting, and it popped me huge. Like I quite literally went, "Holy shit!" Because it's not often you get something that genuinely surprises you in wrestling anymore.
Yeah.
Therefore, it all.
Okay, that's fair enough. I assumed you were going into some sort of like anti-Tony D'Angelo rant. Like,
I mean, I'm glad it didn't follow the this typical recipe of a Tony D trophy defense, where it be like I thought it was going to with forget about it, and then Charlie gets the win. Charlie gets a pinfall. And then it'd be a spinebuster to finish it. So I'm glad it didn't follow that, but I liked it.
Yeah.
But sorry, Dempsey.
Yeah, very good. So I don't know if you guys do this. I know Craig doesn't, but I give star ratings for the matches that I watch. I don't know if you guys do that.
I used to just kind of have like an overall kind of thing.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah.
But the amount that we kind of discuss it, because we just like go like pretty balls deep into every single match. It definitely not going to be an issue. I think we could. Do you want one between us, or do you want us? Individual.
I'd say probably individual, personally.
That's cool. We can argue about them later.
But no. So I rated this 3.25 stars. It was good. It wasn't the best, though, and I've come to that realization is because of Tony, and this is not a drag on Tony by any means. He's a good cup holder, and he was defending it the way it was supposed to be defended, against anyone and everyone. But he's not the best guy to point to. He's not the best guy to hold it. And I come back as well to the point that Craig made last week, where he wins with the same moves. It's the same formula every time he defended it. And there's never really any variety with his matches. The cup needs someone who can be versatile, someone who can adapt. So I always come back as well, like for examples of like Charlie Dempsey, Noam Dar, like who are arguably the two best cup holders, and maybe Tyler Bate. But outside of them, like there's no one else really there. Like sure, Aiken had it, but again, Aiken wasn't much when he started in WWE. kind of a bit plain, personally, but is what it is. But yeah, so Charlie Dempsey did make a strong case for himself in his first reign, but the main talking point in this match has to be that the main reason that Charlie won the first race was because of Ren. It was Ren's trip that led to that second pinfall, and Ren's casual assault of Charlie that led to that first pinfall.
Yeah, and you've got to wonder if that's, because she tripped Tony Day, is that going to lead? That's obviously going to lead to some stuff now between. They were all kind of on the level, but he's either going to respect it or he's going to take it as a big slant and it's going to be a thing. But either way, I'm excited for it. I like Tony Day, but I agree with you that it has he's been great. Like, I've been enjoying seeing the aggression, everything, and see him going through these rounds. But when I think on it, I think more exciting of being with people like Noam Dar and Charlie and stuff like that. But I think it's been great for him to have this experience. Yeah, I don't think it's hurt him in any way. I think he was a good cup holder.
Yeah.
That makes him sound like a cup holder.
You are a good cup holder.
You are. Tony.
We can drive on the motor.
Do you mind holding that up there, lad?
I would agree with Nick on that for sure. Like, him not having it anymore. Because, to your point, 3.5. I actually would I would have given it kind of like a 3.5 or a 4 because of the fact that it is going back to Charlie.
Yeah.
The kind of, it feels like the wrestler's trophy.
Yeah.
So have it in that kind of, to have it in the wrestling crew makes sense. Tony, it was good for him to have it between quite a stacked title picture already, and he's already been in that scene. It gives him a bit of a platform to kind of stay defending something.
Yeah.
Build. You can build some rivalries. You can get some story out of it. But time for him to move onto other things, especially considering when they lost the tag title. Sorry if I'm going on. Do stop me.
No, go for it.
When they lost the tag titles, he kind of went really serious, and he brought in Juicy Lucy Crucifino, whatever his name is. I can never remember Crucifino, right? Juicy Lucy.
And he's that for forever now.
Forgotten his name now. That's all his name is.
Juicy Lucy.
Yeah, he's that forever now.
It's
Juicy Lucy King.
It's Luca Crucifino.
Luca Crucifino, thank you.
No, it's Juicy Lucy forever now.
That was in night one. The second he came out, I told him that, and yeah. It's a no. It was one of those. Put him in. There was a whole he had a sit down. He was really serious with them. It was no more, shenanigans, all this nonsense. And then that kind of went away when he got the cup, and they were all, jokes and games again. It felt a little bit more like they were a bit more relaxed. I'd like to see a darker side of. I'd like to see a mafia, a really messed up side, and maybe now that he's gone, that can also happen. So, the cup's for me in the right place. Ren had a huge boost there because that's basically what the story.
It's a nice moment.
The story was, and it means that the family can kind of they can move on onto other things as well. So yeah, I'd 3.5 to a 4, but the match as well was lovely. Always lovely to see Charlie Dempsey go.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. And just to slightly come back as well on what you said, Mike. When I think it was when Charlie first lost the Heritage Cup, and he went into this weird I'm the Joker spiral.
Yeah, he was very much so. Yeah, there was a whole transition there. He was trying to be something else. He did Tag Driver, didn't he?
Yeah.
Travis Bickle as well. Yeah, of course.
And he had the whole mirror spot as well, where he was talking to his own reflection and stuff.
Yeah, he was practicing. Yeah.
I just remember that entire segment when they spoke to each other in the mirror.
It was it's in the time that it's taken for him to kind of come back. The NQCC, which still feels like I'm not saying it right, but I know that's the right thing. They've they've gone from, like you say, that kind of weird. It was like a weird, serious, almost like Blackpool Combat Club, but like way more serious kind of vibe. It was odd to almost not goofy at all, because they're still brutal, but it's softened them. It's I'm along for the ride now, more so than I was before.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the NXT are probably the best example of a versatile group within wrestling. Or at least within mainstream wrestling anyway. In the case of, they're serious when it comes to business, but when they're with themselves, they're quite goofy. They're quite friendly, because they're just, they're brothers and sisters and whatever. Like, they're a family, and they're very different with each other than they are with strangers, essentially. Like,
what they present as a group to what they are with each other.
Yeah.
Sure. They make the best groups. Judgment Day was the same.
Exactly. Yeah.
But like
until Liv Morgan came in.
Rifling bitch.
Oh, I feel like I should have done a SummerSlam review. Oh well.
Yeah.
After that, we go backstage. Lola Vice, the future of women's wrestling, and Kalani Jordan are chatting when they pass Tatum Paxley, who's not handling anything well, given that she was dragged off the screen like Jaws last week by Wendy Chu. So Kalani wants to help, but doesn't know how to, and also doesn't want to, because she's a fully grown adult who don't want to play with toys. Lola says that she'll handle it, and the encounter doesn't go well. And I fully get why it didn't go well, because I don't mean it in a bad way, but every time Lola talks, she sounds aggressive. She sounds like she's going to assault you verbally. Like,
it is kind of like she's like, "Oh, babe, what's wrong?
Stop being so sad.
Hey, let me help you get it together, bitch." You're right. She does
it goes like a lead balloon.
It didn't go, but the way that, she was kind of. I thought she was actually quite soft, and then Tatum coming back at her, but she snapped so quickly, like, "Well, fuck you."
Yeah. Oh no, I'm trying to help. She was immediately like, "All right, let's go." So it's like, we're never gonna help. We're always gonna make it work.
Yeah. But it seems that we're getting some sort of match later on, or next week or something like that. Just sometime in the very near future. So we move on now to the next match of the night, the second match of the night. And before we go into it, I must address the elephant in the room. We all know how bad Lexis King is. I've mentioned it before on the podcast. Craig mentioned it before on the podcast. I think even Nikki mentioned the time she was here for Heatwave. But I've got it on some authority that there's someone here in this room who is a Lexis King sympathiser.
I don't know if you can see this.
I can see that. And I hate it.
Doggy doggy quack quack at the bottom there. I don't know if that's visible.
I didn't see that. I don't get it, Mike. Why are you a defender of Lexis King?
Hear me out. I am not a defender of Lexis King. Everything that he does is dreadful. Oh, I don't know why. There's something about his. I love the hamminess. I think it's very deliberate, and I think because it's deliberate and it's what he's intending to do is to give people the again to also to kind of like just be a fool. Behind the scenes, I'm all about it. When it comes to his in-ring stuff, though, I sadly tune out of Brian Pillman Jr.
Yeah.
And all of that swag that's behind the scene that I can kind of see, and he has funny back and forth with Ava. I like that kind of stuff, just the silliness. He's a clear, obvious buffoon who thinks he's brilliant, which is, is fine. But then it's fun and entertaining. It's completely harmless to a degree. But when he gets in the ring, you need to kind of back up a lot of the stuff that he's saying, especially with the pedestal that he was put on. So it's not that I love Lexus King, however, there's something there, and I want there to be something so good, and I want it to work, man. I want it to work so badly. And it's not yet, but it might. And my beard is turning into it, and I didn't realise until early when we spoke, and now that's a problem for me. But here we go.
He's slowly turning into Lexus King.
But next time you see me, I will have like just
the blonde mullet. Like...
yeah, everyone just like, oh.
The dog's falling down the back of the couch, hang on.
But no.
Oh, dear.
I can't believe we found someone who is a fan or a wannabe supporter of.
He's just waiting. He's like so that he could be, you know. But this is the thing when we saw it, because we watched him in AEW, and you know, I mean, he was a jock.
Yeah, he was a fun, hyperactive, athletic guy.
But he had a decent program with MJF, and so there is hope there. But I just think this character is just, it gives me the ick.
Yeah.
And I tune out time when he's on.
To further to Mike's point as well earlier, I think the ick is the point of the character.
Yeah.
I think it's doing what it's meant to do, but it's also a negative thing because you don't want that on your program. Like, it's doing the right thing. Like, he's doing the job he's getting paid to do, but at the same time, it's going to drive people more away from him than be like, oh, actually, no, I hate this guy, boo. It's not going to do that. Yeah. It's going to be like, actually, no, fuck off, I'm turning the channel over. Like...
yeah.
That's my concern. I think there is a path for him somewhere. It's just where. But we did have a conversation before, which kind of a lot of the time you find that some people just need somebody else. Am I again like stop me if I'm thingy? But some people just need that extra person, that extra almost like a stabilizer kind of thing, a heater or something, a manager, anything, because it does allow them to back and forth off someone constantly who isn't trying to promote their own character or isn't trying to be their own character. They're working with him. So like when Von Wagner was a big problem, he just kept coming back and just wasn't evolving, he wasn't getting better. And then Roger Stone, but something clicked. He's a prime example of that, kind of like something going somewhere. It obviously didn't go very far, he was very limited, but and it's not going anymore.
But it was better.
But there is someone who I think should come over to NXT, and if he was to be a manager with him, because I don't think he's doing much of anything in Ring of Honor, but Smart Mark. I think him and the smarminess of Smart Mark, the ridiculousness of him, with Lexus King and how big up himself and how much he loves and how much of a sycophant Smart Mark is, they would blend well together, really well, and it might just allow them to have some funny moments which would take that ick edge off Lexus, so he can still be that horrible goof who's a complete turn off for every man and woman in the fucking planet, but at the same time not make you go, oh, this fucking guy again.
Yeah.
I do agree with that, because when I look at in MLW, the new Heart Foundation, like, he was bearable then. He was still learning, but he was bearable then.
We can't mention that team.
I do. I know we can't mention one person in that team.
The other one's a convicted felon.
It's true, who are perfectly fine.
But
right.
Go on, sorry.
Anywho.
Yeah. I mean, also I said this before when it was just me and Craig on a previous episode of this. It was just after I think Joe Gacy had like stopped with the schism and he stopped appearing on shows and stuff. And I thought there needs to be a resident madman because it works.
Yeah.
There's Wendy Chu, but that only works to a certain extent because she's like Dream Girl or now Nightmare Girl.
Nick Brooks came Brooks for a bit.
But you know he's the son of Brian Pillman. literally one of the craziest gimmicks in wrestling.
To denounce that
I was just saying, he
immediately,
immediately denounced it.
and
And
to
he's
go
like,
down this route, like, it's really backwards, yeah, because it's like you have some actual depth available to you as a character that you could really explore, which I felt like he was going to kind of explore that I'm not my dad kind of thing for ages. He just went, I'm not my dad, I'm this fucking glittery mess of a
I will give him credit. He's stopped the whole like predatory kind of shit that he was doing. He's just going up to all the women backstage like, oh hey baby, like we've got someone else is doing that shit now.
I don't know why you went all Austin Powers there, like.
That was even bigger, Rick, and that was just and NXT needs to stop doing that shit in general. But now that he's kind of stopped doing that, I give it a few months. I guarantee at some point he'll do something, and we'll all be like, "Oh, okay." But at the minute, it's just not. I try not to, but I do switch off.
Yeah, it's like I don't fully understand it because he went from this potential, I'm not Brian Pillman, I'm not his son, whatever, don't call me his son, to hey, slidey chair.
Let's clip this. Ready for when Brian Pillman becomes NXT champion.
And I will hold up my sign, which you can't see, bud, but it says, I need lectual healing.
Okay.
That's a horrible sign.
It's my first ever sign, man.
No, I mean, it's a good design. It's a good design sign,
If you get through the content, but yeah,
the teenage shows, but I can't like it.
Like if Marvin Gaye had released that song or something, it would have been an instant just in the bin song. Like
there was one a while ago. There was a tweet that people put out of like Omos had the Homo sapiens, Kyle Fletcher had the Fletchlings and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
And what was his was like lectual. You talked about it. I'm sure you did on Heatwave or on something. I'm sure.
I can't even remember what
but it was. I think it was like something like that. It was so weird.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
really
No.
That's like
Whoa.
Like, no.
Let's back out of that.
Yeah, he everybody was giving weird names and he came up with the worst one. It's like, don't say that, Lexus. You can't.
I don't know if he said it or if someone put it on him, but either way, it was weird.
Well, I'm gonna have to bleep what I just said. Like,
I think on his Twitch when he's live on Twitch, it calls people the intellectuals. I think.
Oh, is that the one?
Yeah,
okay, good.
there was definitely one that people were like, "Don't say that," though. There was definitely one that you shouldn't say. Like,
Yeah.
There was one that was
Don't
weird,
say it.
and I apologise if me saying that was a bad thing. Did I do a bad?
No.
I won't do any more bads.
No, it's fine. Go for it. Honestly, it's fine. Like, if anything, it's more work for me because I'll just go through it and try and find the bit to bleep it. Like, because I'm not hired at editor yet, so it's all me.
If you need a hand, I literally. Then again, I do have a problem with time and these things. So yeah, we'll move forward from that.
So we go on to the match that actually happened. Lexus King and Eddie Thorpe.
Oh, we didn't talk about the match.
So Lexus wins with the coronation. I rated the match 1 star. It was too short to get anything going, and what was going was basically a squash match. It protected Eddie because of how it happened with the pre-match attack and all that. But I don't know what either man gets from this feud, besides more in-ring time and more in-ring experience, which, to be fair, neither of them really need, because you've got Brian Pillman Jr., who very experienced wrestler, and you got Eddie Thorpe, or formerly Carl Fredericks, who literally graduated from the New Japan dojo. Like, both of these guys don't need more experience in the ring. Like, I don't know what this feud is, other than, hey, I don't like your music. Hey, you're a DJ. What are you doing that for?
Yeah.
Like,
Literally it.
Yeah. That was really like, that was a really 2.0
yeah.
NXT 2.0 style
Still very
thing in the
2.0.
midst of a lot of better stuff.
Yeah.
Like, it felt like a backtrack or regression. It felt like something that, it just felt like lazy writing.
Mm-hmm.
And also, Lexus King should not be the guy to be speaking up for rock and roll.
No, but I think I was saying this to Nikki earlier, actually. That I think it gives him a small sliver of credit that he's defending good music, as opposed to EDM, which is just trash.
Really small amount. So.
I can take it.
Go on, Craig.
I forgot it was called EDM, and in my mind, I thought it was called EDL.
Oh God!
I haven't slept since. I've been up since. I haven't slept all day. I've literally been awake up until like 6.
Why would Eddie Thorpe be part of the English?
My brain isn't functioning properly. Oh dang! Couldn't be further.
So good. It just means edit decision list. Edit decision in Avid. That's what it means. Edit decision list. So
There you go.
Yeah. That's fine. I'll just I'll remove this entire section from the review. It's fine. So after this, we get a. What's it gone?
It's a bang average match.
Oh, fair.
That's been generated.
It was a forgettable bass. It was fine. It was just two guys coming in, like you say, getting a bit of experience. Let's end this and do something proper. Give this a different avenue to find whatever it is he's trying to achieve.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The Eddie Thorpe character is pretty well. I think you actually were saying this earlier. It's pretty well formed. There's two elements to him. He's got his.
I think they're just trying to do too much character stuff, and these two guys can wrestle, so just let them wrestle.
And it's like
They're trying too hard with this, and then like we just let them go in the ring and do what they can do, and then but really shoehorning and really trying to form a story out of absolutely nothing, and it's music. It's.
And it's like, I'm assuming there must be some sort of American following for this sort of stuff.
That's what we were saying earlier. Like, I don't know if that's like a thing. It doesn't translate as well over here because it's just
for anyone
really
watching, we're all British, so.
I wonder if it's like stomping the yard or saving the last dance or stepping up or all the movies about dance competitions and whatnot.
Step up.
Step up. Yeah. Stepping up.
High School Musical.
Like stomping the yard and stuff like that.
Yeah, so probably, I don't know, but the kind of DJ versus DJ thing just doesn't really do it for me. But then like when we had Cade and Katana and they were the whole like, we're nightclub girls, we go raving and like it just, but I'm an old lady, so not me.
You know what I think? I think Craig is a big fan of EDM music. I think he goes to clubs every day. Craig, can you confirm this?
Purely country. Okay, the silence there did not encourage me that much.
You know what? I hope this Lexus King becomes a country guy. Just after this feud, he just becomes a country guy.
Probably suit him.
It would suit him.
He's just goes down the route of musical gimmicks. That's just going to be like, oh no, please. Like you said, I really would like to see. You bring up a really good point before about this, like the fact that Brian Pillman is his dad. Explore it, man. It's been enough time. It's been enough time that he's got there. So like, now it's explore it.
Yeah, I mean, this current thing is clearly not working. So do something else.
It's like, I mean, they tried it with Bron Breakker, of like, oh, no, we don't mention who his dad and uncle are, but that lasted all of 6 months.
As soon as he got to the main roster, it was almost immediate.
And one of them's a Hall of Famer. Oh, it's both are, aren't they?
Yeah.
We move on. We get a vignette that airs from Trick Williams, where he just waffles a lot about Pete Dunne and solving his issues. He dealt with Carmelo, he dealt with Ilya, and he'll do the same with Pete Dunne. He wants a rematch. To me, this was literally just waffle. There was nothing to this vignette, or promo, how you want to call it. Trick lost clean to Dunne. There was no shenanigans, there was no nothing. It was just, he lost clean. And this vignette made it seem like he was trying to find an excuse as to why he lost. It's like, actually, no. I lost because I lose the first time, guys. As you'll see with Carmelo, I lost to Carmelo, but I beat him after. And with Ilya, I lost 5 times, but then I beat him. But I lose the first time, and then the second time, and then maybe the third time, but I'll win the fourth. And it's to me, it's quite pathetic.
It's also so stereotypical in that you've got a guy from the States. Oh, I was a footballer, and I did this and that. You got a guy from the Midlands. I got beat on a butt. Like, it's so stereotypical, because it's either one of the other in American wrestling, is that if you're British, there's a good chance you were raised fighting in pubs. Or if you're American, you're a footballer.
Yeah.
Well, it just stereotypical. It drives me mental, because just think of something else.
Yeah.
Do something else. It's irritating.
Yeah, I usually enjoy most stuff Trick does, but I didn't feel the same energy or fire from him. Like you say, it felt like, I don't know, maybe he doesn't believe what he's saying, maybe that's the point, I don't know, but it just kind of passed me by. I'd like to see them wrestle again. We're obviously going to see them wrestle again. But I don't know if it's if it's wise to make that his pattern, that he always loses first and then wins.
Well, on that note, sorry if you don't mind.
No, go for it.
You say that, but it was a good track of his progression.
Oh yeah, no.
To a point.
Yeah.
But
to make that almost not his gimmick, his gimmick in a way. Oh, he loses and then wins. To point it out.
Yeah.
I would agree, but the case of Dragunov, he lost 3 or 4 times to Dragunov. He should have been nowhere near Ilya after the third time.
Yeah. 3 times would have been enough for them to, because you have him. He was one of the first people. Ilya was when Trick came. Sorry, excuse me. Let me just find the words. Trick came properly for a while. He had a few singles matches, but not many. Then he had a big match against Ilya out of nowhere, where he sort of held his own. It was oh shit, he's been doing the work. Half a year down the line, he has another match with him. It's oh wow, here we go. Ilya being the measuring post and stuff like that. We're seeing where Trick is measuring up to. We've seen it again, and then he's got obviously also Carmelo. He's getting more over with the crowd. Everything's getting better and better and better. Then boom, that's when he should have pulled the trigger on that third one, probably.
Yeah.
I don't hate them having those 5 matches for that reason of seeing the development, the progression of what NXT is as a product, the developmental. But 5 times,
too many.
That's wild.
Yeah,
it is wild.
It's quite literally the definition of insanity, of doing the same thing over and over, and it's a different result. It's I get it, but then it becomes not more of a Trick issue or an Ilya issue. It becomes more of a management issue of why is Ava or Shawn Michaels or whoever, why are they approving this match to happen for the 4th or 5th time when there's other people in the lineup who could.
Yeah, I was going to say, you've got other people in the queue. But like, this guy's been around 5 times now.
Yeah.
Like,
it's like literally,
But yeah,
like you know when you go to a doctor's surgery, GP surgery, whatever, and you're sitting in the waiting room and you're there for about 10 minutes, whatever. Someone else comes in after you, like 10 minutes later. They're sitting down for like 5 minutes, and then they're called before you.
oh yeah.
It's like it's that sort of feeling, like.
Yeah. No, I'm interested to see them fight again, but I'm not too fussed by the promo.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not bothered about this match happening again. Not for a while, anyway. Like, I'd rather see Pete Dunne go after the world title than see Trick involved in this again. Like, let Trick do some non-title stuff. Like, let him move on to something else. Let him fight over Femi. Like, that's a match we were waiting for.
I'd like that. That'd be awesome.
I would love to see Femi just throw him around the ring. Like,
I like I said, I think it's Trick's going through hurdles before he gets back to his title.
Yeah.
Because I think, we mentioned, didn't we, Craig, last week, that it's going to be, I think very clearly, he wins it back from Ethan. Trick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll get the first 2 defenses for Ethan. Owen Mensah, Pete Dunne, Joe Hendry, whatever, and then eventually it'll come back to Trick, and Trick will win. But right now, Trick has to go through a journey of sorts, and he has to be nowhere near the main event scene, because the main event scene is reserved for the champions, and specifically the world champion. But yeah, I don't know. Are we continuing or waiting for Mike?
Carry on. Sorry, let's go take the dog out to the garden.
Okay. Cool.
So yeah, he'll be back. He's coming back. Don't worry.
Cool. So we'll continue on. Backstage, Pete Dunne was watching said vignette, and when asked will he give Trick a rematch, he goes, "No." Just no. I'm focusing on that NXT title, which is like, yes, that's the right answer, Dunne. Yes, that is the correct answer. It's like, you beat this guy clean. He's not your business anymore. Like, Trick is in your rearview mirror now. Like, you've got past him. Now you worry about Ethan Page or Joe Hendry or whoever. Like, whoever's next in your way to get there.
Yeah,
I love Pete Dunne, and just his no selling of the entire vignette.
Yeah, like not asked.
Yeah, it was great.
Very fair.
So in the same camera shot after the Dunne interview, we get a verbal altercation between women of the NXT roster. It's Jakara Jackson and Lash Legend who are arguing with JC Fallon and Jasmine. They talk more about like sports and stuff, how Lash was a basketball person, which makes sense because she's a very tall person, and how Jasmine was also a sports person, I believe, before wrestling. I'm not sure about the others' background, but I think Jakara was a cheerleader.
Too sure.
I think it was something like that. I can't remember.
I didn't know that they came through the NIL system.
I'm gonna say they were one of those early classes, weren't they?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But it's like it's interesting because like JC Jane is like probably the one who's been there the longest time, because if you look at like the old cast photos of like the trainee classes, the rookie classes, like Fallon Henley is in the same class as like Sol Ruka.
Yeah.
You can kind of see how long everyone's been there.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I guess there's more to this coming soon. Probably some sort of tag match or six-person tag match. I don't know. Probably.
What are they? A metaphor face or heel? Like where the landings? They seem to be getting they have gone face now.
Face, yeah.
I'd say they're more tweener if anything. But when it comes to facing like someone like JC Jane, their faces by default.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like Owen Mensah facing Ethan Page, he was a face, even though he's more heelish, I'd say.
Yeah. It depends who they're up against, really, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like that. I do like that though. I like that quite a lot, and with some wrestlers, but like with Mox, I know they're the furthest in between, like Lash Legend and Mox. But the idea of being able to, the idea of being able to go into an environment, being able to go into an environment and just be the character that you need to be fluidly is a cool thing. For like, thank you for putting this.
I would pop if Lash Legend just randomly threw out a paradigm shift. Like, I would just love that.
Florida people's mouth.
Very fair.
So yeah, after that altercation, we get a match because it's a wrestling show. It's Lola Vice, the future of women's wrestling, because that's what I'll always call her because I believe in her thoroughly. Taking on Tatum Paxley. Lola wins with a spinning back fist. I rated it 1.5 stars. It had the same problem as the one before it. It was too short, and nothing really got a chance to get going. Wendy came out in the middle of the match, took out Kalani Jordan, and neither of them did anything about it. They just sort of watched. It's like, oh, okay. And then there was a spot where because I always chill on Lola Vice, no matter who she's facing. Like, she faced Roxanne Perez. Like, she did face Roxanne Perez, and I was cheering on Lola. Like, and I thought Tatum was gonna win, and I was like, don't let Tatum win this match. She's not like, no, Lola's like a big star right now. Don't let Tatum beat her. I was like, I think it was just when Tatum goes for that 450 splash, and there's a certain angle that they do for it, and it's like, oh god, she's gonna hit it, isn't she? And I was like, if she hits it, she wins. And I was like, oh, don't hit. And then she missed it. I was like, yes. I was just like, that split second, I was just like, no. But no, the right person won for me, being no device. Again, just a short match though. I felt rushed.
Yeah. I'd probably rate it kind of like I don't even know what I'd rate it in star form, but it was short. I didn't feel like it got enough time to breathe. The Wendy coming out and attacking Kalani was a bit messy because, like you say, like she was at it for ages and nobody did anything. No security or anything came out to try and stop her. So she just got Kalani they continue what they're doing, and then the last thing I remember is them both being in the ring looking down like, oh, what's she doing? Which again was an odd thing. She had fallen out a few minutes ago, like and now, it was all very odd.
Yeah. Because I mean, like, you had Wendy choking up Tatum last week.
Yeah.
And then you had Lola this week being friendly with Kalani, who just got choked out by Wendy. So why have neither Lola or Tatum gone after Wendy? There's so many names.
No, I don't know. I'm like, oh, now they're all together, and they now gonna. I don't know. They were all both stood there looking down at her.
She did it for The Rock. And Wendy, this is her version of doing it for The Rock. She went after Kalani so that Tatum could defend her, so that Tatum could have a friend, because Wendy gets Tatum. In my, like,
that's what you're thinking.
That's my level of thinking. It is a possible avenue to go down, at least, if you want to make, because otherwise I'm just like, oh, what are we doing again?
So at some point down the line, like, we'll get like Kalani returning, like with the full like broken glass, like like just. I'm gonna beat you up, Wendy.
And she really goes for it as well. Like, please get the whole strangle, just like with Rikishi there.
Honestly, the bit that, I guess confused me a little bit was that, because Lola is constantly dancing, like, and her mate being choked out, and she's dancing.
Yeah, she's like Jeff Hardy.
Yeah, exactly. It was people mean the crap out of Jeff Hardy juking when Matt Hardy getting beaten up. But when she was choking out her mate, like why are you dancing? Also, it's kind of still not annoying me, but like it kind of makes me cringe every time Lola shouts that she's Latina and there's a hip attack. It makes me cringe a little bit. Like we don't need it every time. It just makes me cringe a little bit.
I do love though that when she can be, she had her ass absolutely kicked, she'll get up and she's still
She's
doing her
still sexy, still
her hurt dance.
I love it. I respect it. I love it. It's great. She's like holding her back but still doing a little
like her eyes are falling out.
She can still do the moves though, so she's fine.
She can have an arm hanging up and she'll still be dancing.
Yeah.
I mentioned Bloodsport earlier, and I would love to see Lola Vice in Bloodsport.
Yeah.
But personally,
yeah,
I really think she would like throw down the.
You know what?
He done.
Lola Vice, Marina Shafir, fucking.
Oh.
Yeah.
That was a good feeling I got then as well. Like, yeah, let's please.
We'll make that happen, please.
Jeff Bonnet, if you're watching.
we know you're watching. We know you are.
Cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, after this, we go back to backstage. It's the continuation of the NXT Women's Qualifier thingy. The fourth name is picked, and it's Jada Parker, who seemed to already know that her number was going to get called, because she was like, "Yeah." But before it happened, it's like.
It's because that's part of her character, though, isn't it? She's so confident and sure of herself. She's like, "I'm gonna get in this. I know I'm gonna get in this. Oh, look, I'm in this. Told you."
But it was like the only time that she did that though, because she didn't do it for any of the three previously.
Alright. I didn't see her that one.
So I saw it. I saw it when it happened. I was like, "What's she doing that for?" So I went back to the previous three. I was like, "Is she doing that in those ones?" And she's not.
Oh.
So I think it's legitimately just her forgetting the script or whatever. Like,
it's telegraphing.
I'm gonna do this one time in case it is me. Oh, it's me! Yeah.
It worked.
I keep saying it, but do you get a look at the women around Ava, and especially the four on one side?
Oh, here we go.
NXT have a type, and it's blatantly obvious. Look at the Cavender twins. Like the NIL system, they're called the Cavender twins.
Oh, you mean
Google them.
Do you mean Carly and Kendall?
No, the Cavender. They haven't debuted yet, but
okay.
they're the NIL.
Oh right.
I'm not sure. Yeah, go on.
Like, Google the Cavender twins and tell me NXT do not have a type.
Oh no, they do. They do.
It's
Brenda Rice is tall Thea.
Yeah.
Sorry, Reese.
Yeah,
is tall.
Like if Brittany Reese and Thea Hale are the two that's but it's blatantly obvious to me.
In fact, in the search, Thea Hale comes up at the top.
Yeah.
This week they're lifting her up.
Yeah. Like, oh, Thea Hale.
Literally all Thea Hale. There is a definite thing. I get even with that, the fact that some of them have been able to kind of like separate themselves, kind of from the crowd. Who else was in it? Because you had on that side, you had Brinley. Who it was?
I didn't know.
On the left-hand side, there was it was Carly, Kendall,
Carmen.
and
Carmen.
Yeah, Carmen. That's right, Carmen.
Izzy dead.
And Izzy, yeah, there you go.
Thank you, Izzy.
I thought you were going to say another K then. I was like, Jesus.
Christine Casey.
But no, so Jada was picked. The fifth name picked was, in fact, Carly Bright's friend, Kendall Gray, who, fair play to her, this is like her third or fourth week in a row that she'll be on NXT TV, and she's basically a rookie. Like, she's like, the pure definition of what a rookie is. Like, and it's just she's been on TV, like her and Carly, like for like the last few weeks, like consecutively on TV. Like,
it's another sign of that development that I love to see, that you get to see in NXT. You know, it's like they give you enough so that you have the chance to see them just kind of in a segment and just kind of there and here. They get a match, they get a bit of time, and then it's suddenly more and more, and all of a sudden you kind of go, oh wait, you're Summit now.
Yeah, you start to learn a little bit more each week about them. It's nice.
It was. I can't remember when it was, but I've had that with like quite a lot of people. I think the first person I noticed it was Grayson Waller. We were watching the Iron Man, and all of a sudden we were like, "Oh wait, he's good on the. He's having banging matches. He knows what he's doing. Oh my god, he's good.
Yeah,
he stalked at first, but he didn't. But he wasn't what he was. So
but
like
see that transition.
to see that with and that's a continuous thing. So to see that with Kendall,
and
is really cool.
It's even like to go back in the years of NXT. Like you see like Becky Lynch, or you see like Sasha Banks, like and where they came from. Like I mean, Becky Lynch was literally a green wearing Irish woman. Who fucking Morris danced? Like, so it's very interesting because obviously back then it was a very different time as well because there wasn't really much segments in NXT back then. It was mainly just all about the in-ring action, or like the occasional like contract signing, etc. But obviously,
people.
Yeah.
It's good to see.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But this might annoy Craig a little, but the 6th and final pick of this is, of course, Carmen Petrovic.
It doesn't know that I like Carmen. I think she's great.
But how will you tell the difference between her and Kendall Gray?
I mean, you know, Carmen's the one with a big ass sword, so you know, it's not. Yeah.
Are we all not ready for some swing action?
Let's not make that a thing.
It's because she's tweeting it. She's tweeting it.
No!
It's a thing now. It's like Kalani tried to make like Lani a thing.
Yep.
That's been phased out, thankfully, because it was just cringy.
Yeah.
But the swing
action.
I can already hear Booker T saying it on commentary.
Swingy.
I can already hear it.
But that swing action, man.
Yeah, he just I just don't want it to be coming.
I'm getting a random film in my head. I can't remember what film it is. Where they go swing.
Wayne's World.
Oh, Wayne's World. Thank you. Yeah.
Going past the match.
Yeah. It's not going on.
Party time. Excellent. So Carmen's thankful. Then she and Brittany reminisce and reconnect on something that we've not seen, which is the SummerSlam trial. But in comes Izzy Dame, who complains that she didn't get picked, and also to say that she can't stand Carmen or Brindley. Oh, okay.
It's a proper little tantrum.
It was like, hey, you guys are talking about the SummerSlam trial that no one's seen on TV yet, but I don't like either of you. Goodbye. It was so fucking random.
It does feel like the newer crew. Sorry, Craig.
No, I just said it's interesting. To make what you want.
It's strange to me that I don't know. I could be out of line saying this. I might need to think about on it more. But the pattern I'm noticing is that the younger stars, people that are coming in, are getting the kind of more immature high school drama bullshit, and then the older stars who are a bit more. They're getting the more hitting stuff. And it's like, is that is by design? I guess.
I think so, because it's super basic, isn't it? In a way, so when you think about it, it's almost like GCSE drama. These are super basic. So it is that kind of bullshit that you get, you know, like all these rubbish little plays and things, and then like it's all further down the line, you get your Brooks and stuff like.
I will start throwing hands if a match is just broken up so someone could do a fucking monologue.
Please.
Right, stop.
I really want to win this match.
He hit me with a right cross.
Right.
That was strange.
You know
Watch
what, though?
happened next.
We say it, but unironically, it might work for like Chip Williams.
You know what?
It just goes down.
Yeah.
Wesley, he's really good at monologuing, like getting emotional monologuing. So like Wesley,
Just
Wesley,
in the middle of a match. Just.
Boom, lights go down. Spotlight.
Yeah.
Sat on a stool.
Where'd the stall come from?
Joe Hendry could pull it off.
Oh god.
You've done it.
Believes hard, man.
No, it's just like
far enough,
What's it
you've done it. I said, if you got it far enough, I'm pretty sure you must have already done it.
mm-hmm.
Joe
It's like,
Hendry must have.
if it was Joe Hendry, like it'd be a signal, wouldn't it? It'd be like clothesline, and then lock it down. That's
Yes.
You can.
and then he fucking plays the guitar. Sorry, during his monologue or something.
Oh yeah.
I don't want to Joe.
But no. So after that, that weird Izzy Dame complaint, it's time for what we've all been waiting for. I know Craig is specifically excited about this one. This show was all about one thing, like really about one thing, about one person, really, about Wesley, about why he did what he did last week. What are his plans now? Who's he going after? Or is it just open season for him now? Is it anyone on his target list? Anyone there, or is it just everyone? So Wes talks about his history, how Zachary Wentz let him down during the MSK days, but when he left, no one felt sad for Wes. They felt sorry for Wes. I can see Craig already reacting. And that led to doubt as to what Wes would do next, because he was seen wanted as a tag guy, so it makes sense for him to find a new tag partner. But instead of that, he picked himself up and began his singles route, which took him to being one of the greatest North American champions of all time. Obviously, first honours of that go to Dominic Mysterio, because, you know, he is the best of all time. Wes talks about how Zachary went to TNA and teamed with Trey, completely forgetting Myron Reed. But they killed it over there, while Wes was left by himself, and he had to break his back to get to the top level in NXT. All of them aspired to reach greatness, but Wes was the only one to actually achieve that greatness. He's tired of being a caretaker. He's tired of he's tired of cleaning the messes, squashing the beefs. He's tired of taking care of Zach. Wes knows the way that this will go, and that Zach will win a match, and Wes suggests No Mercy for that match because it's a fit-in title. He also suggests that after that, Zach and Trey go back to TNA, while Wes continues his journey and aspires to be bigger and better and go after the NXT Championship. And he then wishes Zach all the best in his future endeavours. I was saying this for weeks. I was saying this for months even. Like, Wesley needed a heel turn. Like, it was all when a good coming back from injury, mate. But or from your depressive episode, whatever it was. But like, you aren't the same Wesley that you were when you were healthy. Like, you need to reflect on your journey and your time away, and you need to turn heel. You need to, you know, take it out on someone, because that's how wrestling works.
Yep.
And it's like and it's like I said this last week with Craig, and Craig wasn't happy about it, but like, I've never physically jumped out of my seat on something like this happening, on a title changing hands or a project breaking up or anything like that. But when Wes super kicked Trey, I jumped out of my seat. I literally like, woo! Like, I did a full on, like, you know, like one of those like mountain caller yelps. Like,
Yeah.
I'll be brutally honest. If someone cried that much after I lost a title match, I'd fucking kick him in the face too. He went hard fast.
But no, I thoroughly love this promo, and I'll get to the next bit in a minute. But I thoroughly love just Wesley talking by himself, explaining his actions. Because in WWE particularly, and AEW I guess as well, you get very cop-out answers in regards to why, oh, I did this because they don't like me, or I did this because I felt alone, and whatever. And, like, it's very basic, very plain. But Wes dug into it. Like, Wes actually spoke about it thoroughly and openly. And I can see Craig, again, he's just stirring away. I can... He's literally shaking a little, like...
I just. What? Yeah.
You know what? I've said my piece. You know, I love this. Go on, Craig.
So Wes says Trey. Okay, first of all, he's just forgotten about what he did to Trey. Like Trey's not even a factor in this. Like Trey's gets no mention, and then he keeps going like, "You left me. You left me. You left me." He was fired. How did he leave you? Like, he was fired. It makes no sense saying someone left you. Like, he was punished for something, a stupid thing he did when he was younger. Because that was the rule at the time. And then it just really irritates me when they push that, like where it's left of his own accord.
Yeah.
Like, he'd still be there now if his ex-wife didn't tweet something that he stupidly did when he was younger. It's so baffling. And like I said, he's just forgotten about Trey. Like, he was once match with Wentz, and they could go back to TNA. It honestly, it really does bug me, because like this whole, I can go on and on about all day, but this whole NXT thing is very frustrating, and they're finally doing something with it that's not just, this guy's going to be here this week, this guy's going to be there that week, and it just bugs me, like that. I don't know. I can't think straight, because I'm just still. I'm never really genuinely surprised in wrestling. Last week's genuinely surprised me, and also Wesley. I love Wesley. Oh no, scrap that. I like Desmond Xavier. Wesley does nothing to me.
People hate him, man.
We're getting deep cuts.
to your point there about him saying what he said about, because I was saying the same thing. It's like, dude was sacked. He got off. He had a situation way worse than you. He got sacked for something he didn't do. He nearly lost his career. Got cancelled essentially, and then you got a title. Like, you got the better situation, bro. Bringing that darkness and stuff like that. We've seen this heel turn coming for a little while.
Yeah, he's had a darkness to him.
It's nice.
For a few weeks.
It has been coming, hasn't it? And it's nice to see him to let it out. Let out that darkness. I think that the route is, if they were willing to do this, because at the end of the day, they should acknowledge the fact that, like, Zach kind of got screwed over by, like, he really did, but they can't do that. They can't do that, can they? They can't say it like that. So which route is it? Is it Wes being genuinely thing because they're just acting like Zach left, so people can kind of like accept this transition of Wes being a heel, or do you go full thingy with it straight away, where Wes is the delusional guy who's just tired of being, he lost too many times, he got screwed over, and now he's just like, no, I'm sick of the world, that's bollocks, you didn't get sacked, you left me, you wanted to run away.
Yeah.
You know
also, it's also the traditional WWE way of, like, sometimes we just I mean, we're doing that currently on the main roster with Sheamus and Pete Dunne. You know, it's all, you know, Pete Dunne, I hate you, you abandoned me. He got injured.
Yeah.
He was hurt. abandon him, and he's like, "You made me keep the name Butch." I wasn't aware that Sheamus made him his name Butch, but apparently
Like-
it's his fault. And so it's like WWE when they sometimes can't explain something away. They just go, do you know what? Do the you were my friend and you let me down routine, and then eventually it'll become. But I say this a lot. I respect a heel turn with a point. I don't think that the point actually is Zach. I think the point is he's angry, he's bitter, and like, I mean, I get that. I've gone from being super able-bodied to not able-bodied, so there is that bitterness there, and you want to find somewhere to put it and someone to blame it on. Who better than your best friend who wasn't physically around during one of your darkest times? You forget they were having a shit time. So maybe it'll either be great and dramatic and beautiful because Wesley can do emotion, or it'll explode and not go very well. But I'm thinking it's going to go down a bit, and I'm really excited to see Dark Wesley turn, like, because I think he's going to be really good at it.
Yeah.
As sucky as it is for the fans of, the Rascals.
Yeah. I think it worked though, because the fans were starting to cheer for him.
Yeah, they were.
It was working.
So
The annoying part.
they're buying into it, and to further the point that me and Craig make every week, I don't necessarily think a crowd would believe that. I don't think.
Yeah.
I think they're told what to think. The crowd. I think I think they're essentially they're planted there. The crowd, like not all of them, but a majority of them on the hard cam side. Like, these are the ones who are going to be chanting things and believing the things and going in the direction that they want them to go in.
It's like, because in most of the NXT universe started the hashtag Justice for Nash Carter,
Yeah.
and now you're fine with what's happening to
Like you're conveniently forgetting what the actual truth is of the matter. Like,
yeah.
no, I fully get that, but I want this. Sorry. I want this to be a Wesley self-deprivation sort of thing, where it's like, because he's failed so much since coming back from injury, like, he's wanted a reason to take it out on someone, and it's just so convenient that Zachary and Trey have come back to NXT. Also, have come to NXT.
Yeah.
It's just also convenient for him now that he can just take it out on them.
It's perfect.
That's it. That's the way.
Yeah.
Works for him.
Someone
Cool.
You need some more Alexis King in your life, man. That'll make you feel better. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
You know what? I think, Mike. I think you've got a sign for Craig.
Can't see it's on fire.
Oh, you can't see, can you?
I definitely do. I do.
There,
Craig needs.
there is something that Craig needs. I think.
Craig most definitely needs, hopefully, some lectural healing, Craig. Ducky doggy quack quack.
Fucking hell. It's a horrible it's a horrible saying, but it's great as well.
I didn't like writing it. Why am I the way I am?
But so after Wesley's promo, out comes Pete Dunne. So now we'll get some direction. Who appreciates Wes finally beginning to understand what's going on and figuring it out, which I think is referencing Trick Williams, who can't figure it out. But not to get too carried away, because he beat Trick last week and his eyes are firmly fixed on the NXT title. And then in comes Joe Hendry, who wants revenge on Wes, and so he attacks Wes from behind, which causes Wes to fall into Pete, and then the three of them brawl, which is broken up by security. So, cool.
Did what it do.
Yeah. But no, I like we're getting the direction here, and Trick's nowhere to be seen.
Yeah, it's weird that he would. It clearly means that whatever's going to happen between these three, which is obviously, it's the match that they get. It's been put. I think it's been advertised now, hasn't it?
I'm sure it has. Yeah, I didn't write it down, but oh no, I did here. Yeah, I got it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's triple threat match for a number one contender spot.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that's when Trick will make his appearance.
Yeah. I'm assuming Hendry wins that.
And no mercy.
Imagine so. I wouldn't mind some. It depends on what they're going to do with the title as far as it goes, because you could always have a situation where you throw at least two people at Ethan, so that Joe Hendry can go for the title but doesn't win, or Wes can go for the title but doesn't win. Then they can stretch it out a little bit longer, and then at a bigger show, they can do a bigger thing, and Ethan gets a little bit more time with the belt. Because I'd like to see more. I'd like to see more of Ethan. I like what he's doing.
So what if we just did another 4-way, so Ethan v Joe v Wes v Pete, and then Ethan wins again by fluke.
And you've got at least 3 other storylines to go down.
Yeah,
then
precisely.
After that, you've got Wes and Zach.
Yeah.
Ethan and Trick, and everyone's set up nicely for the next few months, right? Or at least until the next special.
Yeah.
So I think Joe Hendry will win the triple threat, and because Wentz will cost Wes. You potentially got Sheamus or Trick to cost Pete Dunne, and then at No Mercy you've got Josh Alexander to cost Joe Hendry.
Oh,
yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, there have been alleged talks between NXT and Josh Alexander.
I dig that.
Well, makes sense because they haven't really talked about it. Joe Hendry made no mention of it on TNA TV, and I think Josh is getting pissed off.
Yeah.
The bit. Could be for the bit.
Disrespect.
Yeah. So after that, we go into an interview with Fraxium, which is Fraser and Axiom. Fraxium are locked in compared to previous weeks when they've not been locked in. There's no singles titles here. There's no separate things. No one else is challenging for anything else. There's no other goals. It's just the tag team title match that they've got coming up. And they're both locked in. They got changed in the same locker room, which okay, sick. You put my shoes. I'll put your shoes on.
He put each other's arms around them, like they're doing the drink thing.
So say again, Craig?
About tag champs were overcompensating.
100%.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
See the writing on the wall.
Spoilers.
Sorry.
Backstage, Tony talks about losing the Heritage Cup. Well, he tries to, until Philly just cuts him off. Literally, he's talking about it, and then Philly just walks in front of the camera. He's like, well, now it's time for my open challenge for the North American title. And I was like, yes!
Open challenge. Wasn't an open challenge.
It wasn't an open challenge, because it was already announced who he was facing.
The night before.
It was a scheduled bout.
A scheduled open challenge.
I'd forgotten about Oba and Tony and the whole
they cut each other off
last week. Yeah, so that's really cool. I had forgotten about that actually. It's really cool they're keeping that going. Shows it again, but Tony's probably gonna venture off towards.
It would seem that way. Yeah. Backstage, Chase U have a hype session. They're all on the same page. They're all fired up and they're ready for this tag title match. Riley and Duke apologise for how they treated Ridge, and Ridge just he sort of just collects his thoughts, and he's grateful that everyone supports him, and he's got a family now that he can believe in, and he's got a family that will support him no matter what. And his daughter, Thea Hale. We go on to... that's what they're going for, aren't they? Like, it's the father-daughter thing.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
So up next we have the NXT North American Championship Open Challenge. We have champion Overemy taking on, who would it be? Who could? Well, of course it's Otis.
This is out.
I can't do it. I've got a puppy in my arm, but I'm trying.
Otis is of course accompanied by Akira Tozawa and Maxine Dupree.
It's Maxine Dupree.
Dupois. So yeah, Oba wins and retains a powerbomb. A pretty good powerbomb, actually. I say. Like, Otis is a fucking big guy. Like, to powerbomb him, like,
Big dude.
it's like I don't even remember him powerbombing like either. Like during the early days, I don't think he powerbombed either. So he powerbombed Otis though.
Yeah,
I was injured, so that's probably what.
yeah, might not have been able to
Maybe,
help
yeah.
as much and make the move because he was written off not long after that, right? Like literally.
Yeah.
Was it Died?
I think they had the 4-way, didn't they, on PLE, and then or 3-way, whatever it was.
Then Gallus is
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I rated this 2 3/4 stars. This is probably Oba's weakest title match to date. It was just a standard big man match, except one man is a true juggernaut in NXT and WWE, and the other one does the caterpillar. It's not bad. It's just it's not what you want in this sort of match, and like I wanted this to be a fake out. I wanted this to be like, oh, Otis is announced, but it's actually not Otis. It's gonna be someone else.
Yeah.
And I thought like that's what they're going to, because Otis is a bit underwhelming.
Yeah.
He gets a lot of love, but
Yeah, I was gonna say that he had the Alpha Academy had a fantastic match against American Made. Was it on?
Yeah. Raw.
Raw. Sorry, on Raw. And it was great. It was like it got time, and they were getting, actually wrestling. It was a genuinely good match. So he's been getting some decent work in on the main roster, but it still felt interesting. I think they're going to be turning up a bit. Like they keep rocking up every now and again, don't they, on NXT? So I feel I don't fully understand it.
It kind of ruins the surprise factor.
Yeah.
Because
But I
they've
guess
been
it
around
didn't-
like.
Yeah.
I'd have probably popped a little bit if I hadn't known Otis was coming out. Not much, but enough to be like, oh shit, it's nice.
But it reinforces the idea that Obafemi is very strong. Like,
Yeah.
and the guy is a big man. He will manhandle anyone. Doesn't matter how big they are.
Like,
It just reinforces that.
Like at this rate, is Femi a face or a heel, or somewhere in between?
He's somewhere in between at this minute. At
I
the
think
moment.
it depends on who he's facing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So with that in mind, like, it makes more sense to make him a face in the case of this, and Otis is not who you want to have the match against, because you could easily just as much have Chad Gable.
Yes. Yeah. I'd like to see that.
Oh my goodness! That would be a real challenge for Oba. I know he's a stature above Chad, but I think that would be a real challenge for Oba, more so than Otis.
It's like, because I always say that Chad Gable is like the modern day prime Kurt Angle.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Like he's
even got the same name, Manny.
So now when he walks down the ring, like,
they all get it, don't they?
yeah.
I mean, I could think of someone else, but yeah, sure. I mean, it's because I'm very biased, but yeah.
we know who you're thinking, Craig. You literally did the hand movement earlier.
Yes. Yes, I did mention it earlier.
You know.
Because it's basically followed the same pattern besides WWE.
Yeah.
Like they had a broken freaking neck, and but besides being one hell of a tag team wrestler, or fixed tag team.
Also, I'm a little bit selfish in this respect, but I would love to see Gable do a Chaos Theory on Femi.
Oh,
It would be.
Because I think I think he could do it.
Yeah.
He's a born wrestler. He's got nothing but power on his lower half.
Yeah.
He can make that happen. And Ober's strong enough to hold himself as long as he can pose for a second. He'd be all right.
Yeah.
It would hurt. That's a lot of.
But like, imagine the scenes of like, you know how in New Japan you have like, you know, someone's a finisher, 1 count, kick out. Oh. But like,
Yeah.
like if you had the case of the Chaos Theory, and because it's Chad's finisher, or mostly his finisher, he hits it on Ober. Ober no sells it because he's Ober.
Would you have that after like quite a long period of time in the match, enough for it to be devastating? Oh, you son of a gun! I'd love that.
Like, book this match, like make it 15, 20 minutes, something like that, just full on experience here. And 12, 30 minutes in, Chad gets the move. He's in position to win the title. You know, he hits the move, rolls through, German, and then Ober just gets up.
Yeah.
Oh.
Just he's got those wide eyes on. He's got his fist down.
Yeah.
I love it. I'd love that. That'd be banging.
I'm going to be sad when that doesn't happen.
I mean, the match I really want is Ober and Gunther. Like, that's the match I want.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we've got that much.
But I think Chad is a much more realistic example because of who would come down to NXT.
Yeah. That's for main roster stuff.
It makes sense as well with him being the whole, like, you know, master. I don't know if American Made, if he's going down a different approach now than the Alpha Academy vibe, because Alpha Academy would have fit very nicely, obviously.
American Top Team stuff like they did did in AEW, I think.
Right, yeah. Who?
Oh, you mean
the
freaking like Paige Van Zant thing and the.
Yeah.
I can't remember his name, the main guy.
It's grim. Further proof that Ethan Page being in NXT doing what he's doing is just like is really better. It's blown us away.
He's getting time. Because he was doing great in Ring of Honor, and I don't understand what happened and why it went the way it went. But I'm glad. I'm enjoying him in NXT.
I mean, his time in AEW and Ring of Honor was determined by one factor, and that was Scorpio Sky.
Yeah.
His tag partner.
And where is he?
Yeah, like because of the issues with Scorpio Sky and Tony's a man-child, like he punished Ethan for Scorpio's actions.
What did Scorpio do?
What did he do?
We've missed something here.
Yeah, we missed.
Oh, sorry, I don't want to take.
Let's not go into that.
No. It's nothing serious. I don't think. It's just I think there were like contract disputes between Scorpio and Tony.
Oh. Yeah.
I thought
No. Like nothing serious. Like nothing like criminal or anything like that. Like.
He literally stole the UFC title.
They did do that. That was the whole thing.
That was the whole thing.
Sorry, Craig. Were you saying anything, Craig?
No, I'm watching football and he had a heart attack as well.
Oh, okay, sorry. Yeah, no, I forgot to watch football as well. His heart's not in it. We move on. Backstage. Brooks Jensen is here and he talks about his recent months. And he's looking back at it all. He's made mistakes. But one person who's been on his side and, you know, on his back and supporting him the entire way through. And that person is, of course, Sean Spears.
I rated this, especially after the barbecue last week, because Brooks literally drank the Kool-Aid. Literally trying to call it. I love this.
So are we saying like Sean Spears metaphorically spiked the punch? Like
He's
It's a cool thing, isn't it?
It was a nice. I was hoping for the reveal of it being a Sean Spears thing. I didn't think it'd be so brazenly like. Is that good? Was that good? Was that like that? Yeah, like kind of thing. I didn't think it'd be as thingy as that. So I was really excited by the idea. Like you say, after the whole barbecue thing, the way that they usually do their promos and stuff like that, it was quite refreshing to like kind of cut to him like that. Like he's not really buying into it, but there's something like he clearly knows there's a reason he's going to go with this guy.
Yeah.
But he's not this like emotional because to me anyway, the way he said it was like, "Is that what you wanted? I've said what you wanted me to say now. Like I've done it dramatically. We're all good."
Was that convincing enough? Because it was clear bull. It was clear bull.
So
Like,
what's the relationship between the two?
Yeah.
Does he read into his bullshit, or is he not? Is he just kind of like, we can get some? I can get something out of you as much as you can out of me, kind of thing. So excited to see where they go for sure.
yeah.
Very cool.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest, I didn't rate this at all. Like, I'm not that interested in anything Brooks Jensen or Sean Spears.
Oh,
It's a case of you can't sell me on 1 week of good booking. Like he's had a few months of horrible booking, or at least nonsensical booking, Brooks Jensen. And it's just a case of, oh cool, you've had this 1 week now where something is starting to click. But ultimately, I'm not bothered. It's Sean Spears who's got a proven track record in his current run in NXT that he's not doing much, and of any note really, of any importance. He's, hey, I'm going to recruit you, and it's like, oh, actually no, I'm not. I'm going to recruit you. Actually no, I'm not. Actually, how about you? Have you got demons inside you? Oh, you don't. Okay. It becomes.
It seems like he's feeling though. I think we don't fully know what he's actually doing yet. Because I mean, I know he's like helped Ethan win that title. Essentially, like he had all the thingy out of the ring and pulled him out. Why didn't he slide into the ring himself? He pulled them out of the ring and kept him out.
Yeah.
Instead of kicking it
himself, he could have pulled them out and dove in, but he held him, and it's like he helped you. I feel. So what's he doing? Running around, just little things. I think it'll become. Yeah, I personally, so I used to like Brooks and thought it was, he was great, and then all the stuff that he was doing on Twitter, it was a bit, because at the end of the day as well, you have got a younger audience on NXT, so all the alcohol and all that stuff that he was posting was a bit much, and then he came back, had a fight with his bestie. And I think we're trying to find a path, but I like this, especially with the drinking of the Kool-Aid and Sean Spears clearly being some kind of, kind of a Jones in the situation, I guess. I don't know, but a Jones.
I think for me, it's just a case of I'm not sold at the moment, and I'm fully open to being sold later on down the line. Like, I'm not someone who's just like, oh, this is crap, I'm not going to be bothered at all by this. It's like, right now, I'm not sold, but with time and development, I might be. I don't know. I'm not there yet.
Yeah,
it's understandable because, like you say, the booking hasn't been stellar for sure.
It's not been consistent either.
It's not for either of them. That's why I liked it. I think is because I'm hoping it's going to lead somewhere now, and we can see some kind of progression. Because like yourself. I completely agree. I've not been huge. I was hoping for so much more from Sean, and it's all been very, like, kind of like,
very muted as well.
Yeah, almost like if Scooby Doo had cult leaders, kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's just like, yes, I see what you're doing.
Yeah.
All right, dude.
Yeah, it's.
But do something with it.
Very fair.
Yeah, but so after that we move on to a TV being watched by Manic Blade and Edris Enofe. They're concerned about Brooks Jensen. and they discuss what they can do. But never mind that, because here come Hank and Tank. They're my absolute favourite like rookie tag team. Like, I love them so much. But they announced they've got a match next week. And I'm like, who against? And they're like, the Good Brothers. And I'm like,
baby angels.
And it's like, okay. Why? and then I remembered the fucking food fight from last week at the party.
Yeah, I thought they broke up their barbecue.
Yeah.
They bashed their bash.
And this does go back actually, because I didn't have this in my notes, but you mentioned it earlier, guys, about how the newer guys are getting the sort of immature storylines. And this, again, follows that pattern of Hank and Tank are angry at the Good Brothers because they broke up their barbecue.
Pretty much, yeah.
In the same way that Lexus and Eddie Thorpe are battling over music and DJing.
It really is when you break it down, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's
it is really GCSE drama.
Wendy Chu has got dolls. I'll say Tank has got dolls, sorry. Which is, again, a very...
And nobody's...
You know, it's very, it's sort of almost childish sort of behaviour. So it goes to, when you put it all together and you see what people are doing and for what reasons they're doing these things, then, and like, going back in, like, Femi and Tony D'Angelo will feud because they cut each other off in interviews.
Yeah.
That's like alpha.
That's a disrespect thing.
Yeah.
Like, it's a silly reason, but it's a wrestling reason.
Yeah.
It's still silly. But
Yeah,
it's probably the most.
Definitely.
It's probably the most immature or the least mature of the wrestling reasons. It's like you didn't let me talk. It's like
you think you're the big man. You can walk through my interview. I'm the Don. I'm the Don of NXT. How dare you? I don't like your music. The shaver get a line into my beard and come out and do a mediocre match.
Speaking of,
you just really went in on Alexis then.
I like to say,
speaking of mediocre matches, we move on to the next match of the night. It's Izzy Dame and Brindley Reese. Because they're battling over the SummerSlam trial or something. I don't know. They're battling because Izzy was like, I don't like you.
I don't like you either.
Yeah, and that's kind of like they just threw that out there as well. There was no like, I'm going to go backstage. Like, Brindley didn't care. She was like, what was that all about? That was weird. So, and then all of a sudden, it's like blood feud.
So there's a match now, which means Izzy went to Ava to get this match booked.
Yeah, proper tantrum, full on tantrum.
It's like, Ava, I don't like them. Book a match.
I'm gonna be honest. I think it gave, like you said, like with Eddie and Lexus, it gave, but this like a time when they could do with it. Here's some TV time. Go out and do a match and get some more experience and stuff like that. Maybe more so for... I don't even know, because I think Izzy can go. I'm sure I've seen her go at least like a decent match at some point.
Mm-hmm. Izzy is definitely more experienced than Brindley.
Yeah, for sure.
Brindley comes, I believe, again, from like a cheerleading sort of background. Before she came into the whole, WWE athlete program thing. But Brindley has character, but is a bit green in the ring.
Yeah.
Sure.
Izzy had character when she has someone to bounce off. By herself, she lacks a foundation. Like, she comes across as a bit whiny.
Yeah.
Like,
sure. Thingy James was really helpful to kind of bring it.
Kiana James was, exceptional. Like, she was so good at what she did. And I'm glad she got called up, but I do feel like she should have spent more time in NXT to actually win a title, other than the tag titles.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh,
with the new North American title for women in the roster, Kiana could have easily been a holder of that title. Easily.
I genuinely thought she should have been the first one.
Yeah. But, you know...
I would like to have seen it. They really would have. They coupled up multiple times. And there was a point, it's when she changed the gear, and she suddenly is like, oh, there she goes. She's not got that weird skirt thing going on anymore. She looks like a wrestler. Like,
It was just a big change. Got rid of the big, like, purse, the...
Yeah.
You know, I'm a lawyer or whatever it was she was doing at the time. It's all irrelevant, really. They're spending a lot of time on pointless stuff. She's a really good wrestler, and that's all you need to know.
Yeah.
But the little skirt and everything, it all just kind of made her a little bit like, it wasn't like you couldn't take her seriously, but it made her feel like greener than she actually was, if that makes any sense. With that whole kind of gimmick, she felt a bit like, nah.
Still,
She's actually not. She's actually a good wrestler. And
still in that rookie phase.
Yeah,
And
it had that rookie
it was
feel.
kind of weird as well, because at the same time you had two similar gimmicks in Tiffany Stratton being one, and also Electra Lopez.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
When she was there, like both of them had similar gimmicks. So you had Kiana coming in as this third string kind of gimmick, which, as you guys say, made her look a bit more silly. You know, made her look a bit more greener than what she actually was.
Yeah.
I like what she became, and I mean, as far as the main roster goes, she was sort of like Adam Pearce's girl for a bit, and then
She had like a couple of matches, and we've not really seen her for a while.
I haven't seen her since.
But those matches, the last match she had was good. So.
I don't think I've seen her on the main roster. Like, I've only watched the main roster regularly since. I think it's since SummerSlam. I've been in and out, never really fully watched it. Now,
Same, to be honest.
I haven't
Like
seen her on the main.
I watch main roster for only select stories that I'm interested in, which is like the Bloodline stuff, the whole Dominic and Liv Rhea Ripley scenario, and Priest and like Judgment Day in general, really. Bronson Reed lately I've been quite interested in, because he keeps doing tsunamis on people, and I'm like, do it again.
That's really good for him, hasn't it? It's got him over with a lot of people.
The thing is it helped because I'm not a fan of Seth Rollins anyway. Like, I'm not a fan of Seth, so the fact that Seth was one of his first targets, I was like, yeah, go on, keep doing it. And I was like, you won't do it.
But I was cheering like, one more time.
Yeah.
Well, that's like, Seth's the guy. And then the last time they did it to Sammy. Not Sammy. Was it Sammy's?
It was Miz and R-Truth.
Miz, R-Truth. R-Truth. And the crowd are going, one more time, that's R-Truth.
Yeah.
Fans love her.
And
I
was cheering that as well. It's like, I love it because he does it like once or twice, and there's like no one's there, and suddenly referees are there, security are there, and it's like, I'm gonna do it again. It's just
you can't stop Ian Bronson Reed.
Yeah.
I legit thought Pierce was gonna fire him.
I thought he was gonna get squashed.
I thought he was gonna squash Pierce. He was like looking at him like, don't put your finger in my
This
head.
is for constantly drinking on the job, Pierce.
And Pierce is a problem.
So yeah, so match. Sorry, Izzy Day and Brindley Reese. Izzy wins with the swinging side effect sort of move. Again, I rated 1.5 stars. It was a short match. Again, it suffered because it didn't have enough time to get going, and as a result, that fell a bit flat. And that's all notes I had on it.
Yeah, I'd say generous 2 for the fact that they're getting a bit of experience, but 1.5 is completely reasonable.
Yeah.
I'd probably sit at that, to be honest, because it was. I couldn't even remember who won personally.
Honestly, the reason why I remembered was because I wrote it down. That's the only reason why.
Again, still the longest match I've seen of Izzy Dame was against Jordan Grace in TNA.
Yeah.
That's the longest Izzy Dame match I've seen in a company she's not even signed to.
And just out of curiosity, how did you rate that match?
Jordan and Izzy Dame.
Yeah.
How? Maybe 3, but in fairness, Jordan did a lot of the work.
Yeah. Jordan is like she's generational. Like she's really good.
Coming down the air in October, I need to go.
Yeah.
I need to go. But outside the Midlands, pain in the arse.
Yeah. So yeah. Backstage, Ava announces the 6-woman Gauntlet Eliminator for next week. So the 6 women who we mentioned already, who've been randomly selected for this match. She also has signed up for a triple threat match between, as we said already, Wesley, Joe Hendry, and Pete Dunne, and that'll be to determine the number 1 contender to face Ethan Page at No Mercy, I believe. In comes Roxanne Perez for the first time this entire show. Who likes the idea of the Gauntlet Eliminator and that no one will beat her for the title. Which, out of the 6 names listed, I can see that being true. Even Sol Ruka. I don't think anyone has beaten her. Not now, anyway. I think Roxanne gets at least a year with the title before anyone even comes close to beating her.
Make her a real dominant NXT Women's Champion.
Make up for the first run that she
probably
had.
the most dominant before that was Mandy.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
And I will always defend that reign of Mandy because Mandy wasn't the best wrestler. However, as time went on, she developed and she improved.
Oh god, yeah. She elevated it. System works.
Like I'm not like the gimmick,
but that system works.
The gimmick itself wasn't the best of her JC and Gigi, but you know, like other than that, like the tactics used in matches, the heel tactics, and the attitude she had in matches and outside of matches, like everything sort of clicked, everything sort of worked.
Yeah, that put some respect on my name promo was a leveling up.
Yeah. Because
really
great. Before NXT, my memory of her is her and Dana Brooke at WrestleMania.
Slipping down
the ramp with the main point. Yeah.
Getting caught by Otis during the Rumble. Yeah.
No, I think she did a great job of elevating that title, and she was everything. The way things went down with Mandy, we've talked about this. It's just it was bullshit. They should right that wrong at some point, but
she's a perfect example of.
God forbid, we take control of our own, assets and our own output,
But now she's making $1 million a month.
Yeah. Who's the real winner?
Yeah.
But I think she deserves way more recognition for the work that she did, especially with the pandemic and 2.0 and all of that. Like
she elevated the NXT Women's title for me.
While elevating herself and working on herself, she still managed to make that title really appealing and that vision really exciting and Gigi Dolan exciting. And
I fully understand people's points when they criticize Mandy Rose. I fully get it because at one point I was that same person. But at the same time, it's like I can't agree with it because I know what came of it. I know what came of her reign. I watched the entire reign. I followed her progress through NXT. But before I was reviewing stuff on here, like I was following NXT beforehand, and I knew just how good she was doing. And it was like a match of hers came along. I looked forward to it. I was like, I never thought I'd look forward to a Mandy Rose match. But here I am, just enjoying the match for what it was, and it could be against a fucking rookie. It's Mandy Rose. She's the one I want to see here, not the rookie. I
think her match against it was at Stand and Deliver. It was against either Roxanne or Cora Jade. Was one of the two, and it was a banger.
Face Cora was really good. Face Cora.
Injured.
Injured.
Yeah, she's injured now.
She broke.
It's a shame because she turned heel, got injured, came back, and then got injured again.
Yeah.
So
It's a real
Stop that.
poor kid.
I do believe she was on the route to face Roxanne before the injury.
Yeah, look that way.
And then it was sort of like, actually, no. So.
Maybe at some point in tag team, this is the thing with Roxanne. Like, before she goes to the main roster, because I think she's one of those ones that they're keeping in development because there is a full product there that they're trying to put across. So she needs to do the heel thing, she needs to do the tag thing, she needs to do a little bit of everything. Bron Breakker was one of the people who did that. Carmelo Hayes the same. And they are, Bron Breakker more so than Carmelo Hayes at the moment, but being pushed to be, they're going to be the big stars.
Yeah.
So allowing her that time to develop in that way and be the face, then be the heel, and then maybe, like you say, she can have a tag team and work with somebody else. You've got a complete fucking package right there, and you know it's going to work.
I agree and disagree with that. So I know what you're saying, and I fully understand it. But at the same time, I can't help but think that at the time in old NXT, like that 2.0 and all that, it was different booking, and it was under and WWE was under a different regime that I won't go into details, but it was under a different person. And I think they put themselves in a corner in NXT specifically, where Bron Breakker was the only top guy in NXT. So much so they brought Dolph Ziggler down to dethrone him. Just for Bron to beat him back, because there was no one on Bron's level in NXT who could realistically beat him. Like, until they finally built Carmelo.
Well, that's it. They for me came from quicker because he was the main title holder and he was running through motherfuckers in a way that Carmelo cannot, because it's just not built in that way.
Yeah, he literally runs through.
But when they actually kind of came to their match together, was it Stand and Deliver when they had their match together?
I think
when
so.
Carmelo took it, realized that they'd actually been developing parallel. They weren't allowed to connect to one another because that story was ready to be made. When it was like, and now you face each other. Do you realize that you've been doing this whilst I've been doing this?
They've been on the same.
They've been on a
trajectory.
trajectory.
Just more focus was on.
Breakker.
Yeah.
But I really do agree. There's no one else that could have beat him. They had to bring someone from the memory. It sucks that it was. But that was a weird ass time. But I do agree with what you're saying though. You are right. There was very different booking at the time. It was a clear reason, and that was part of the reason why I didn't like Bron in the first place. It was like, oh, you're Vince's boy.
Yeah.
You're coming to ruin our
it was also a case of like not with Bron so much, but on the women's side, like when you had Roxanne as the main champion, and Roxanne's always been, since her debut in NXT, she's been on a different level to everyone else in that roster. And it's all very good. I'll talk about the development of Mandy Rose, over the years that she was in NXT. But she never got to a level like Roxanne Perez or Roxy. Roxanne, even nowadays, there's no one on Roxanne's level in that roster. So this is why I genuinely think no one beats her for a year at least, because not from a point of view where it's like, oh, storyline or anything like that. There's genuinely no one who can realistically and believably beat Roxanne, because there's just no one there. You've got to bring someone down from the main roster or hire world-class talents outside of WWE in Julia and Stephanie Vakir to try and raise the stock a little bit, because it's literally Roxanne, everyone else.
You've
got Julia and thingy now. It's like, but they've had him, not used him yet.
That's why I could only see the reason why them keeping, if when she does eventually lose the belt, if they decide to keep her there and not put her up to the main roster, which they should, really, it would be for the tag team. Because I thought Bron was ready, and then he had the tag team with Garden.
Corbin.
But I think that was, we've said this before to each other,
Benefited Corbin.
that was more for Corbin than anything.
Yeah.
In the end, I think it was good for Braun because he'd gone stale a little bit for a while, and it got him back up and thingy pumped before he was fully main roster circulating and stuff like that. But I forgot my point that I was trying to make. Yeah, with Roxanne, the only reason I could see her doing that would be see how she works in a tag team, see if she can do that, be a bad girl team with Cora Jade. Maybe she comes back and she's like, I like your attitude now. I don't know. Personally, though, I'd like to see her just go to the main roster when she does lose it. Hopefully after a year, though, because I'm completely on board with that.
Yep.
Yeah, I think she just needs a long reign for now, and then during that time you build other stars, because there are stars that can be made. You know, you've got your Sol Rukas, your Fallon Henleys. They can easily be raised in stock. They can easily go up. Like, not to the level of Roxanne, but storyline wise and personality wise and profile wise, whatever. Like, they can absolutely get there.
Yeah, it is just about you when Roxanne's in a feud with someone, you should be building someone else, and they don't seem to be doing that.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
You've got to wait.
Just
You've got
one. Yeah.
Yeah.
You really have themselves into a corner, haven't they?
Yeah.
With Roxy.
Yeah.
And Overfem.
Yeah. But
do you think anyone can take on Over?
We're gonna have to bring someone from the main roster down to take that off Over. I think the same way.
Tony and Juicy Lucy can get it done.
in a handicap match.
I really want to see Over versus Moose.
Yeah.
I really want to see that match.
I mean,
Just 'cause it's gonna be
if you're going off TNA guys, like Moose is not all that for me, but someone who is Jake something.
I just don't think, like with Riley Osborne and Dante Chen, like people on NXT watch regularly know who they are, but if you don't watch that company regularly, you don't necessarily know. Like Riley Osborne got a pop, but only because he had the Chase U music. That's the reason Riley Osborne got the biggest pop. And then, so if you send Jake something, like, you might get people might recognize the "What's My Name" thing, but I don't know if Jake something is, because his booking in TNA hasn't been that great. It just hasn't. It's very up and down. Jake something. He turned heel, but now he's face again. Like, it just makes no sense. But I think I want to see him move just because it's a name, and I can just go for a house fight. They both want it. Like, and they can both do house fights very well.
That's fair.
Oh yeah.
But yeah. So one more tangent as well, because I remember that as I was saying the names. What are they doing with Gigi Dolan?
Injured.
She's on the injured list. Yeah.
She said it last week, didn't
We're
you?
doing that thing with her and Thingy's daughter. What's her name? Ariana Grace.
The worst part is, like, I said this last week, and Craig said the exact same thing. She's injured. I legitimately forgot the reason why she was gone again.
Yeah.
I need to follow injury lists more frequently.
I don't even. It's just on social media I find out someone's injured. I don't look at injury lists. Just
yeah. Let's go back on track. We've been on a tangent for a little bit now. Backstage. This is the final backstage bit before the main event. Backstage, Ashante Adonis is continuing to flirt with women.
Stop it.
That's his gimmick. That's his gimmick.
Adonis.
Stop it. The reason why they stopped with Lexis is so they could do it with Ashante.
It's in 2024. Why are we still doing this goddamn slime ball? Can't even read the room, take the hint. Like, now, I mean, yeah, fine, it's great when they pick him up, they beat him up and stuff for it, but it's like,
it's not even in the ring.
Stop. why is this now? Why is this your character? The slime ball pervert who just thinks that he can walk up to any woman and just start like, no, stop it.
Adonis, you should be looking at me like, fucking
It's
hell,
gross. It's gross, and again, it's piss poor optics as well. Like it just does. You've got young audience, and it's not a good message, and just it's so overplayed and outdated. And like, if he's there to wrestle, stop hanging around the women. Get in the ring.
Yeah.
Like, do a wrestle. But you're just walking around, sleazing and all that. It's just, it's just.
You're creepier than CM Punk.
I hate it.
It's not to go into that whole scenario, but there's literally an ongoing lawsuit. I won't go into details because but.
It's just inappropriate in general, and then with the company that it is, it's even more inappropriate. And so I just pack it in.
Yeah.
Sean, stop.
Why is this? Why is this a thing? Why is this a gimmick? Why is this a character?
It's
the
again
whole thing just needs to be
basic
to
PCSE.
that like women are like when they're not about it anymore in the way that's like it's not even offensive. You're just nothing to us. We don't give a damn. And if like that's fine, you've shown that every week for the last 4 or 5 weeks.
But if he's not getting the message, that's a HR complaint.
Yeah, they really need to.
Do you know what I mean?
Have a quick word with Ashante the Adonis.
Ava, sort it.
I'm waiting for
I'm
waiting for him to try something with Ava, like see what happens there.
And then the Rock. Yeah.
But it's very Acme, cartoony. Oh no, he's gonna get clocked, or he's gonna get
But he didn't even get clocked at the barbecue when he was trying it on. Some other guy did the exact same thing he was doing.
Put through a table.
To be fair, Ashante didn't do anything too bad. It was like the other guy, the gym bro guy. He was like, yeah, girls, yeah. Like,
it was a bit smoother. He wasn't being as much of a
douche, yeah.
Yeah,
you're right.
But can we just stop this whole idea that none of the men backstage know how to talk to women? Because I'm pretty sure they probably do.
Yeah. And
hi guys.
Considering that most of them, I think most of them are like dating some of the women in NXT. Like, it's like
very Hollywood.
Yeah, with Trick and Lash are legitimate.
Yeah.
So when he came over and speaking to me, I was like, do something Trick. And then he was like, no, I like Jakarta. It's just, it was just, come on, like, it's Jakarta, sorry, not Jakarta, that's a place.
Jakarta.
I'm hoping that Ashanti is actually here to wrestle and not just sleaze about backstage.
Do you remember like the whole backstage segment where it was like, oh, I've signed these 2 guys. Here's Cedric Alexander and Ashante. It's like, yeah, cool. They're gonna be a tag team, right? Or something.
No.
Nope.
He had an interaction behind the scenes where they disagreed with each other, and one of them backed the other one up, sort of, and then there's been no more.
I think Cedric had one match against who was it? Yeah. Thank you.
Was it?
Yeah.
But other than that, it's been just nothing from Cedric. I think he might be on speed on Twitter. I think.
Oh gosh.
Or are they on the?
Haven't watched a single one of those.
Neither have I. I know Andrade's champion. That's all I know.
What's the first 3?
Was it worth it, Andrade?
I mean, it's swings and roundabouts, isn't it? Like AEW wasn't doing him any favors, so
he was definitely.
He's got a
having more
title. He's got the Twitter title. I mean,
yeah.
That he's not even allowed to bring down to the ring on a normal match. Like he's got a belt. Like when Ricochet had it, and every time he was on the main roster, they'd be there on the comments going, "Oh, he's the title holder." It's like, where's his belt?
Yeah.
Why is he not? Why is that not with him? Why has that got to stay? Because it's a completely non.
That was a whole thing apparently. Like when they signed the agreement for the title with Twitter, like Twitter wanted its exclusivity, so the title could only be seen on Twitter. So you couldn't see it on TV, on cable, or on pay-per-view, anything like that. Like it was just on Twitter. You could see the Twitter belt.
Minimalize.
I just again, it wasn't worth it.
Is it worth it?
It wasn't worth. It's not worth it so far. So far.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it won't be. I don't see any scenario that they fix the speed title with 3-minute matches on Twitter.
I imagine it's worth it for the money they're getting.
Probably, yeah.
It's the only reason.
Like I will say, I think there was a match on Speed, like in one of the tournament things, where it was literally Dragunov and Carmelo Hayes.
I wouldn't mind seeing them go hammer each other for 3 minutes.
That's pretty much what they did. Like,
yeah,
that's the only match that I have seen. Like, it was like, you know, like in a video game, it was like L1, like unlimited finishes sort of thing.
Yeah,
it was like that sort of behavior, like
constantly trying to to counter, just like nope.
Yeah. But yeah, no. So that's not the end of the segment. After Shantae's flirtations get no appeal whatsoever, he talks to Dion Lennox, who is more interested in reading a book. Ashante takes offense to this and wants to fight him next week. Okay.
Finally.
I'm gonna interrupt a guy reading his book and get mad at him. Like, I get it.
So in this one, we had, it was obviously last week was music, book reading, food stomping. Swear to God, if someone said someone's got cooties next week, I swear to God.
That was pretty much Izzy Dane with Brindley Reese. Like,
what are we doing?
Like, there's like some really good bits of NXT. Like, there's some fantastic bits on NXT, and then there's just a lot of the other side of the coin.
a lot of segments and a lot of that stuff. Like, especially in this episode, like a lot of that kind of more, like the matches didn't feel like they got as much time and stuff, but like all the segments and stuff did. So it was very segment heavy. So maybe that's the skills that was brushing up on at the minute, is like promos, backstage segments, scripts and stuff like that. But it just, with NXT sometimes, like we say, some of the stories are pretty weak sauce, but the matches are great sometimes, even within rough, awful stories. The matches are still great, so if you can kind of separate them, not too bad. But yeah, it was a bit heavy on it this week, I felt.
Because, you know, God forbid that you give your matches like 5 minutes more, you know, but instead you can have like 35 segments.
Why not?
That was a genuine issue I had with TNA in like 2017, where it was just more backstage segments than in-ring stuff.
Yeah,
and it's still an issue with WWE nowadays. Like, people pointed it out because of the whole WWE versus AEW thing, where AEW do, like, you know, in a 2-hour show they'll have like 80 minutes of wrestling, and WWE in a 3-hour show in Raw will have, you know, 20 minutes of wrestling, which is ridiculous when you think about it.
To call yourself the, you know, the main product of wrestling, to call yourself the go-to place for wrestling for that kind, for those, that's when, well, you're going for sports and entertainment, WWE, aren't you? But
yeah,
either way, it's obviously gotten better since things have happened. But yeah, it's that's shocking.
It's a long it's a lot of undoing to do.
Yeah,
you're right.
For sure.
But yeah, with that in mind, let's go on to the final bit of this, the main event, the NXT Tag Team Championships. Champions Frazier and Axiom taking on the team of Chase U, Andre Chase and Ridge Holland. And
issue fans was
this, you know, I was caught off guard by the result of this. I didn't have this as anything more than a nothing match, you know, another title match, you know, to show that they're locked in, you know, that they're gonna win this match, they're gonna move on, and they're gonna face someone else. But no, Chase U win with a Ridge Holland lifting DDT Rampage, whatever it's called, Northern Grit, on Axiom. I rated this match 4 stars. I fucking love this. Ridge Holland, take a fucking bow. Like, this was his. This was his coming out party. Like, it was like, where have you been these last few months? Like, with your whole thing, like coming to NXT with your redemption. Oh, I injured someone. Von Wagner. Oh no, and it's like, okay, cool, but do something. Like, don't just waddle around the ring like you're doing nothing. Like, you were a weak part of the Brawling Brutes. You know, unintentionally injured Big E. Like, do something to redeem yourself. Don't just sit around and feel sorry for yourself. And it was like, okay, he's getting in the ring, he's doing stuff. Yeah, cool. Yeah, he's having matches, but they're fucking piss poor. Oh, Shawn Spears, you battling your demons again, aren't you, Ridge?
Shawn Spears one.
Oh yeah.
And it was like, she's like, Ridge is like, oh, maybe I am, yeah. And then Shawn. And then Shawn's like, oh well, let me mentor you, whatever. And then it's like, oh, but I don't want to. And then it's like, okay, where are we going with this? Oh, Chase U, they might have something for you. Oh, okay, he's now Chase U, I guess. Cool. For Sophia Hale, sees him as a dad or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
That was almost quite instant as well. Like, that wasn't like.
Yeah.
It was almost kind of creepy. Like, almost.
The whole thing is that he was very lost and trying to find his place, but also his kind of new family. Not a new family, like he's trying, but he mentioned a couple of times that when he first came to NXT that he's away from his actual family a lot, his daughters, his wife, so he kind of misses that. And I guess he was trying to find his family. He's found it in Chase U. So I think the reason why they've gone for the daughter dad thing is because he said a few times, I miss my daughters. I miss being a dad. So I think that might be why they've kind of gone with that angle. Because I don't know how much older than he is. Because I don't really know how old Ridge Holland is.
Ridge must be in his mid to late 30s.
Yeah, and like she's in her 20s, right? So
Right.
wait a minute.
Definitely
So,
a brother sister.
It's more of a.
Me.
I feel like it's more of an older brother sister thing than
Maybe.
dad and daughter. But whatever. I guess they're trying to go down the whole family route.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome match.
Mm-hmm.
Andre Chase doesn't get enough credit, in my opinion. I think he's great. I think he's really good at selling things, and in a team, he's really great at making everybody look great. And he moves. That guy moves fast, and he's got some great skill, like movesets in his arsenal that you just don't. With the Chase U thing, I think it's really easy to forget that actually Andre Chase is a good wrestler, and then Ridge. It was just an all-around, surprisingly really great match, and I think the right people won in the end.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I agree with your rating for sure. I feel like the Nathan Axiom story of them clearly not really being that in sync with each other as they really thought they were kind of is going to come back, bite them in the backside. We'll have a good little program with them. I think it's fine. It's nice to see Chase U get something.
Yeah, it really
Finally.
is. Like,
Been screwed.
as much as I try to be impartial, because I try to be, unless something is like really one-sided in like opinion, like, you know, let's just give an example. I am firmly an honorary student of Chase U. You know, like, there's no getting around it. Like, I have been for a long time. You know, since the fucking like Bodie Hayward days of.
Oh yeah.
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 The first
Same.
time he dropped an F-bomb, we were like,
Love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, and you know, I've had so many teachable moments as well. Like, there's all these little things that they do, and it's like everything that Andre particularly does. It's so good. It's like the teacher I never had.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Oh.
You know, it's
there's a magic to Chase.
yeah, there really
There's a
is.
genuine.
Like, it's very
Yeah.
rare you get gold like this, and Chase U is gold. Like, it always has been. Like, even during the JC stuff, like, and that whole story of Andre might be corrupt because he gambled or something, and it's like he gambled the
Yeah.
university and whatever.
Oh,
But like, after all that, and JC bailed him out, and then JC just said "fuck off." That made no sense to me.
Yeah, she got what she wanted from it all anyway, so she was cushy. Like, she was fine.
It's like that perfectly though.
Mm.
Yes.
In a parallel world, I would have wanted JC join and Chase U, like, properly.
That's where it was heading, because we were constantly like, when is she going to turn? Like, we were with Duke. When's Duke going to turn? Oh, he's not. Oh, wait.
Maybe Jason would.
Is Chase U magical? Does Chase U genuinely change people? And it felt like it was going that way, which has made JC hurt way more.
Mm-hmm.
And then you've got Ridge now, who has come in. He's flawed.
We didn't trust him either
didn't
because of
trust
what
him.
happened with JC, so it's really well played out.
And it's worked out again.
Mhm.
And it's so lovely. And to your point about having gold in Chase U, do you move that ever to the main roster? I think Chase U, because it's a developmental brand, it's a school within the developmental brand, stays there forever. Andre Chase, maybe he wants to go off onto the main roster one day, but I think he should remain there for a very long time, because he's doing what he's doing perfectly. No one's going to do that better than he is for a while, and then eventually maybe
Someone
he
else
walks
might
off into
take
the sunset. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So, but it's got this beautiful place in NXT, and
I
it's
don't
one
want
of
it to
those.
leave.
No, never. I really love for it to stay forever in NXT, because it's a very special. If you're a part of the NXT, you understand what Chase U is and how important and wonderful that can be,
Yeah.
and the great stories that have come from it so far. So
Yeah.
it's a wonderful thing for them to have gold. That celebration, genuinely warranted.
Really happy for him.
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
it was just a lot. A lot has happened within Chase U.
Don't be negative, Craig. This is a good moment.
No, it's happened within Chase U, and particularly with Ridge. Yeah, like I said, didn't really trust him. The whole JC thing, and then we weren't sure if Ridge was gonna. Ridge suited the values of the school, because he wants to win by any means necessary. And when I first started this, I remember we were saying about Ridge to prove us wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Prove us wrong, and that's exactly what he did.
Mm-hmm.
Fully.
To a T. I'm so happy. I kind of had a feeling, but I didn't fully know when Fraxion were doing the interview and they were locked in with doing all this, doing all that, doing all this. I had a feeling, but I couldn't be sure. To see. First of all, the match was an absolute banger, which is.
Yeah.
And when it was announced that it was going to be Andre Chase and Ridge in the tag match, I thought it should still be good, but I don't know if it's going to be up to the level their match at Heatwave was.
Mm.
So when it was, and it was so when it was, and to see how well Ridge did, it's a real feel good moment for Chase U, redemption for Ridge, and just I agree in that I don't want Chase U to go anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
It's they've got something special in Chase U, and modern day factions. There's not an awful lot of them that have something like this.
Mm-hmm.
And now to see Chase U as tag team champions, yeah, it was great. And also now we've got the added thing of what are Fraser and Axon going to do.
Yeah.
It's a nice touch.
So, I'm going to say something that I'm surprised no one here said. I also want, obviously, Chase U to stay in NXT. But the reason why I want them to stay in NXT is because I know for a fact that they will not work on the main roster.
I don't see it being what it is anywhere else.
Yeah, that's why it needs to stay there. No, it'll get ruined on the main roster.
Exactly.
Where does it fit?
It'll be a comedy segment that they do every so often, and then eventually someone will turn, and it'll be like, oh, it's Ridge turning this week, and then it'll be Duke next week, and then he'll team with fucking Riley Osborne, and they all turn on Andre. Like, it'll be bullshit. Like there's a reason why, like the Creed brothers went to the main roster, because they were forming a new Team Angle with Gable. But like
Yeah. That's
But-
what it is.
it's Team Angle. Team Gable. But like the Creed went up because the plan was for them to align with Chad. That was always the plan, because they're all natural fits with each other. In the same way, like if Jason Jordan didn't get injured, American Alpha would have been a big thing on the main roster.
Mm.
And then they did that whole thing with Seth Rollins and Jason Jordan, whatever. But yeah, I'm just really glad. And with Ridge Holland, it's sort of like a parent watching a child, like watching them grow and watching them manifest into something different and something much better.
Yeah.
And watching your weird late 30-year-old child grow into something better. You feel proud. You feel good because you watched him for all this time. You watched him on the main roster. You watched him before in NXT with the weird trench coat. Like you watched him like with Sheamus, with Butch. You watched his stuff in NXT when he came back with the whole I feel sorry for myself, yada yada yada. And it's like, oh, I'm gonna retire next week. And then he retired, and then he came back, and then he was like, whatever. It was like, that's what I'm saying. I've watched NXT for ages. Like I remember most of this shit. Like,
Yeah, that's the joy of NXT though, and I think that's when we said that's what makes NXT worth watching, because you get to see all that, and then it's those moments like this moment, the Chase U win. It's payoff as well as fans, because you see the system work. You've seen someone from the main roster who was kind of wavering and drowning a little bit come develop again and really just come back out and become themselves a bit more and find that confidence, and then ultimately win. We saw it with Baron Corbin as well. It works both ways. The developmental of new talent, but for the developmental / rehashing of existing talent.
Yeah,
it works. So it's a nice reward. And so I know when people, because we watch it all as well, and it's like, why do you watch NXT? That's why, because the payoff when you get it, it's awesome.
Yeah,
every pay-per-view, there's always a point where someone hits, they've leveled up in their game, and you like you say, you do feel proud.
Yeah.
I always sort of come back to I think it was 2015, 2016, something like that. And no, I think after that actually. Before that, I'd seen Ciampa and Gargano come through, the Indies and then the Cruiserweight Classic, and then they came to NXT eventually. DIY this low level team going through the ranks, eventually becoming tag champions, and so on and so forth. And then they ended that takeover where they lost the tag titles. I think it was the AOP. I think it was.
Yeah, it was. There's a lot of match.
And they did, and then there was the first time they did that whole fake out thing with the bottom left corner, like end of show, everyone. Like this is like Espanol or whatever. And then it's like, okay, that's the end of the show. Nothing's happening. And then suddenly, just like that, the turn. and he throws Gargano into the Titantron area, like, and then that like
cinema.
Yeah, it's those moments like that. As like, yes, there's moments that you said, like with Ridge Holland and Chase U winning tag belts again. Like, this is a great moment, you know. Hopefully, they get longer than 3 weeks this time as champions.
Fingers crossed.
But there's other times as well in NXT that we've seen over the years of like crowning moments, heel turns, face turns. Like even last week, Wesley's heel turn. That was a moment in itself.
Yeah.
Defining careers.
Yeah, defining. Yeah.
Like there's so many different things that could happen on a weekly developmental show. What?
Yeah.
It's like you see more development here than you do on the main roster.
Genuinely.
Like,
see people go backwards a little bit on the main roster.
Yeah.
Seeing
so many times people have regressed, especially when everything was being run by somebody else. It's like they didn't.
Austin Theory's a mad casualty of that stuff.
Yeah, he is.
Like,
we can get into that on a different thing, you know, like there's a whole plethora of people that have been victims of that.
Oh yeah,
like,
there's a series of podcasts there for you, dude. Of like, dark side of being called up to the ring.
Do you remember? But no,
But
yeah. Again, just Chase U, amazing stuff here, amazing match. What is next for Frazier and Axiom? Like, you'd assume main roster, right? Because what more can they do, really, on NXT, other than singles routes?
Yeah, and again, like, I don't know. I actually thought that they'd have both been up to the main roster at the last. I was genuinely expecting them to be up there by now. I don't know what we're holding.
It's a feud with Bad Blood because they fought each other in a 2 out of 3 contest, if you remember, but it was all in like kind of like jokey, jesty, sportsmanship competition, you know, the occasional jibe. Then they had each other's backs for each other's individual singles runs. They had each other's backs. Then they had the title run, still good mates. Then they went off and did their own things while still being a team, causing some issues. Now they could probably have one last blowout because they fucking went hard in those best out of 3. That little series they did was insane.
That was awesome.
Very good 3 matches. I want to see one more of those at a pay-per-view, and then they can go off into the sunset onto the main roster.
I personally, and I'm a sucker for heel turns. I love heel turns.
Oh yeah.
I want an Axiom heel turn. I want him to go back to being naked. I want him to lose the mask. You know, fuck this. That's not me. I am A-Kid, or I'm my actual name, whatever. But like,
you could be a man now.
Yeah, I'll be a man.
He's a man.
I'll be a man.
Once was a kid, now I'm a man.
But no, just something, you know, like develop the character. Because there's not much more you can do with these two other than a pretty standard call-up. And as you said, you can do another, like, you know, another sportsman-like match between the two of them. But I think
I'd like to see them have genuine hatred, though,
Yeah.
so they get to show that aggressive, angry, heelish side against one another when they got perfect.
And that keeps them on NXT as well. At least for a few months, anyway.
Yeah, and then they can.
Yeah, I love a good tag team breakup, and this one could be really good. It's the matches they could have. I'm stuck for a tag team breakup.
Mm-hmm.
It's
for me. It's like I remember thinking at the time, why is A-Kid wearing a mask? Like, what reason is he hiding his face now?
became so much more like dynamic to me, though. For some reason, he was really boring as A-Kid, but
I
Axiom...
didn't see him as A-Kid. I missed the whole A-Kid thing, so I only know him as Axiom. Did I not see him?
we saw him briefly as A-Kid.
He made zero impression as A-Kid, apparently. So he was Axiom.
Axiom, for some reason, was like... Okay, but it took a few goes. I don't know. It's with A-Kid, I could see he was like super fast, super brilliant.
I think that's.
I see him added a level of
I think that's
to
the
him,
whole.
I guess.
I think that's the whole wrestling perception, though, isn't it? It's like over the years, these larger-than-life characters are what you remember more than the standard characters. It's like over the years in NXT, like say 5-10 years from now, people most likely won't remember Charlie Dempsey because he's a standard wrestler. Like he's a fantastic wrestler, but kind of plain because he just wears normal gear. He's a normal wrestler, you know. He's a wrestler's wrestler. In the same way that Regal is not, well, Regal's remembered, but that's because it's during like the most popular era of wrestling. Like, if Regal was in his prime now, like, he'd probably be a footnote in wrestling history. Like, you remember the more characters, like you remember the literal superheroes, like Axiom, like Nikki ASH, or like you remember the Hurricane, or you know, you remember these larger than life characters. You remember like back here during the Golden Era, or whatever. You remember the Hulk Hogan's, the Ultimate Warriors. You remember them a lot more than you remember like
a bit of glamour or a little bit of like fucking sparkly.
Like A-Kid wore red trunks. That was pretty much it. Like Axiom has a cape, has a mask, has high flying maneuverability. Like
he used to have a blur when he ran because he was so fast. He had I hated that. I'm glad they got rid of that because that was awesome.
They still do it. Yeah.
With it. Do you not remember? It used to be like he used to stand and pose.
Yeah.
And then run really fast and pose.
It was a weird blur. It was like he still moved normal speed, but with a blur.
He turned the ISO up on the camera or something like that, and he just, overexposure, boom.
Genuinely, when I first got back to NXT, I had no idea that Axiom was A-Kid, and I knew who A-Kid was, but I had no idea that Axiom was A-Kid.
It's like a reverse El Generico. When he put on the mask, and he's like, "Who's A-Kid?"
It's still surprising me. There's some people in the Western sphere that don't know Sami Zayn was El Generico. That still surprises me to this day. The people who don't know that, like Kevin Steen, who?
With an S.
You do.
E.
You do.
At the beginning.
But with that in mind, that does bring an end to this review. We have been here for about 3 hours talking NXT and tangents and shit.
Just me this time.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. Honestly, this is, as I said before, this is like week 52. This is the year edition, whatever. Like, I think it's fine if we went a bit over than what we normally do. Like, you know, it's a special occasion, you know, like, you know, get out the champagne, etc. But you know, like,
cheers.
Yeah. I mean, does that count?
Simple.
Like puff this or something.
Don't use that, Mike. Do not use that. But no, as I said, that does bring an end to this. Please give everyone here a follow on their platforms. Penciled in, I will put everything in the description below because there's too much to actually list. They are literally everywhere.
It's all
send them to one. They're all linked together. It's fine.
Yeah, go to Nikki. I'm rubbish with social media. She puts out all the gold.
And of course, there is the thing that Nikki's worked with Awfully Waffly on about accessibility.
Yes, we did an accessibility survey to kind of have a look at how accessible Brit Res is, and we got some really interesting results, and those are all available like on my pinned post on my Twitter and on Sarah's, who's awfully waffly, over on Twitter. And we're looking to make a directory of like the venues, and there'll be like a little system, tick box and a point system almost, so like you can see, you know, wheelchair access, disabled toilet, do they have aircon, just to make it a little bit easier for people like myself, you know, like to just confidently know that the venue they're going to is going to be welcoming for them. So yeah, we're just keeping information, and you can still, I believe, fill in the survey, or if you have any comments about an experience you've had at a show, both good and bad, it doesn't matter. You can still send like an email. There's like a information on there, so you can still send it to us. We want to hear everybody's kind of thoughts on it. So yeah, try and make it a little bit easier.
Yeah, as Dick said, just go check that out, and if you happen to need anything like that, then the guide is there on Twitter as well. I believe it's all in screenshots, isn't it? Like it's like one whole thread, isn't it?
Yeah, she put the thread up, and then we're working to having eventually like a website or something where everything will be accessible, including like the results from the survey and stuff. But we're just busy working on it all at the minute.
Fair. But yeah, other than that, have you guys got anything you want to plug before I move on to Craig?
No.
Just yourselves. Anyone who makes wrestling content that is good and not toxic. All the wrestlers that are entertaining us.
Yeah.
Just
go check all of them out.
HCW, penciled in.
Yeah.
Larger than life. Lucy Juicy.
No, we should just spam Luca with like with just Juicy Lucy.
Lucy.
Yes,
But yeah, no, absolutely, I fully agree with that. Like for everyone who is involved in podcasting, who's not toxic, of course. I hope I fit that category.
100%.
Of course.
100%, man. Thank you so much for
yeah.
on.
Thank you. There's definitely been some times when I've been different in the past. But yeah. Yeah. I think we all have some kind of experience like that in our in our youths, as it were.
maturing, isn't it? Like just realizing something's not good. You're growing up and maturing and realizing that stuff's not okay. Then I think everyone's had a mistake. Just learn from mistakes. The whole point of having them.
Yeah.
That's it.
Well, we're not defined by our pasts. So
look back, you're not going that way.
That's a good saying. So with that as well, I will move on to the other person who was here, Mr. Impact Craig. Thank you for joining us. Have you anything you want to plug?
Be putting together a series where I chat with people who, wrestling fans or wrestlers, anyone involved in the wrestling world who also struggles with their mental health like I do. Just jump online and talk about it, and just how wrestling's helped us deal with the issues the majority of people are going through. Like, for instance, myself, I suffer with depression and anxiety. Have done since I was 16, but wrestling gives me an escape from that. So if wrestling has helped you in any way, then I want to talk to you. Let's talk about it, because it's really important to talk about mental health, because it's not going anywhere. Like, people who struggle with mental health on a daily basis, it doesn't leave you. You just learn to cope better. So if you're struggling or if you have struggled and wrestling's helped you, then drop me a message. So handles there, same handle, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. It's all there. Drop me a message and let's sort something out. Other than that, just like, share, and support wrestling.
Yeah. yeah, and with that in mind as well, please do like the video, subscribe to the channel, comment. Did you like the episode? Did you not like it? Do you want to see more of these guys? Do you want to see more of Craig? Do you want to see less of me? I don't know if that would work, but you know, because I'm the one recording and all that. But yeah, I mean, if you don't want me there, I'll try. I'll go off camera. But no, in all seriousness though, leave a comment if you want to. Honestly, like, subscribe to the channel, comment, like, share. You know, it's all free. End of the day, it hurts no one, and it helps me immensely. Just to know that there's support out there, and to know that people are enjoying this, and you know, who want to engage with the channel and want to, you know, learn more or talk more about NXT or about something BritWres or something else Japan or something else in Asia or whatever. Like, I'm always open to anything. Also, if you've got any recommendations for other shows I can cover as well, I'm open to those, because I want to do more out there. Be it an ML, no, not MLW, not them. But like, you know, be it, you know, the odd TNA, or be it some other random weekly show that's going on right now. Hell, even NWA I'd watch. Like, you know, I'm putting it out in the universe, you know, like. But no, honestly, like, if you guys want me to cover anything, then let me know. And as well as our follows, my Twitter used to be there, but it's not there anymore because I forgot to add it on. It's just a Preezy at Twitter. And for the channel itself, outlets are just underneath. So our Twitch is down there somewhere. Twitter is there, Facebook and Instagram, all HCW Show or the HCW Show. And that does wrap things up, I believe. So once again, I want to thank Craig, and I want to thank Penciled In Nikki and Penciled In Mike for joining me on this special edition of the HCW Show Squared.
Yay!
Thank you so much for having us, man.
Thank you.
Thanks.